Coming to you live from the offices of Chapter One Films in Charlotte, North Carolina, this is the 4D Podcast with your hosts, Nathaniel Levinson, Greg Prinz, and Liam Maxwell. A new dimension in entertainment. This is the 4D Podcast.
Something's not right. Something's wrong.
Are we missing something?
We are missing something. Hang on.
Bear with us, people.
There we go. That's better. Now, what we're saying missing? Nah, that's, I think that's it. Right, Liam? Oh, yeah, guys. Don't worry, I'm just out of shot over here.
Speaking of Liam,
This guy
we
is an 8
we're
man.
back. We're back for the most part. We're missing one of our amigos, but
Maybe
he'll
for
be here
season
shortly.
3 we can get in your mic headphones so I can actually wear hats.
So that'll be the big thing for season 3 is that we're gonna try to figure out how to get headphones for Nathaniel
That actually go over hats.
that allow him to wear hats with his headphones.
There we go. Close.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
Oh, well, look who it is.
Well. Where were you? We were worried sick. Explain yourself.
Look
This
at
is my
man.
first tardy.
I'm hitting you with the horn.
Everyone can agree with that.
It may
I'm
be your
hitting
first
him-
tardy,
I'm
but it's
hitting
not
him-
your first absence.
I'm hitting him with the horn.
What is this hat that I have in my chair?
It's a happy birthday hat, bud. Happy birthday.
It's got the dirty jersey on it.
Guys, does it really?
Yeah.
Look at it.
It's Jersey, man. It's I know you like New Jersey.
I love New Jersey. Oh, thanks, guys. Is this really for me?
That's for you.
No, it's actually
your
for
birthday
me
hat,
because
man.
you know me. I'm
I
a
got-
notorious hat wearer, and I love New
Because
Jersey.
Nathaniel, a New Jersey hat.
Me, a New Jersey,
Two-
New Jersey snapback hat.
Two things that I think Nathaniel could care less about are normal hats and New Jersey.
Well, I think
I don't not care about New
it.
Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm kind of indifferent to New Jersey. I make jokes about it, but like, I mean, it is what it is.
the greatest state in the country.
It's basically New
I'll
York.
die on
dude.
that hill.
Dude, it's the
What's up,
greatest
guys?
town in the state. What's up, man? You've been out
Hey,
here,
howdy.
huh?
I've been a busy man.
This guy's been a world traveler.
I'm home now,
But
though.
we made him watch Trap with us, so he hasn't forgiven us for that.
I was gonna say,
I was like, I need to distance myself from these two.
I think we might have lost him after the atrocity of
Such a
Trap.
bad movie. Okay, so my youngest sister, our movie tastes do not align. Almost like it's a Venn diagram that are practically two separate circles. She liked Zone of Interest. She thought it was a great movie. Yeah,
You guys suck.
So they are out there.
but she agreed that Trap was a terrible.
Those people exist.
I was wondering if they
But I
exist.
was like, man,
apparently.
Trap was a terrible movie, and she was like, yeah, Trap was a terrible movie. So I was like, okay, Trap really, truly is a terrible movie.
That
Two
is the
people
intersection.
with completely opposite tastes in movies both agree a movie's bad. It is a bad movie.
Yeah, that's the intersection. Is just disliking Trap right
Yeah.
there in the Venn diagram.
It really is such a. So I went through just like a personal, like I was giving a 1 to 10 score, point, gave a decimal point for every movie I'd seen in theaters, like for the past however long, the past several months. And Trap is just by far, like, it's just not even close. Other bad movies don't stand up to it.
And again, I think part of it is that we were not like, I mean, it was moderated, but we were like, hey, this looks interesting in the trailer.
Yeah.
It's M. Night Shyamalan and Ding Dong, which honestly should have been a red flag at this point.
It's got to be a red flag now,
It's a red
right?
flag. I mean, certainly now. But if it wasn't before, it certainly is now. But I would say, it has been a red flag. He hasn't put out much good stuff. Like his good to bad ratio has been abysmal
Right.
ever since what? I would say, not The Shining. Oh my gosh, Signs.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Village, I'd say it was
Yeah,
his last
sure,
real
Village,
good
and
one.
then Lady in the Water is where it starts to
like
go
The
downhill.
Lady in the Water was the plummeting.
The beginning of the
down,
end.
Yeah.
And I think what was it? Split was pretty well received.
Yeah, Split
Yeah.
was after
And
he had made
Glass
a bunch
to a
of
certain extent.
bombs.
Glass was kind of a little divisive, but some people thought it was at least well made. But other than that, I mean, I really think he has not made a good movie.
It's like that's like I just thought of a sports analogy. It's like when an NFL team in the offseason signs like Adrian Peterson when he was like 40 years old, and everyone's like, he used to be.
They're like,
maybe
or
he still
what
got
if
something.
old AP?
Or
Maybe
what
he still
if?
got some juice.
What if?
Or a more recent example when the New York Jets signed Brett Favre, and he goes out and tears his Achilles heel in the very first play.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
I think
sorry.
Brett Favre
Not
might have done the same thing.
Brett Favre
Anyway,
probably
too.
did the same thing.
But it's like maybe he's like maybe he used to be good.
It'll get the
It's
people.
like, no, he never
it'll get
was.
the people out to watch. See, I'm a UFC fan, and there's all these old UFC fighters. They're just terrible. And like they just go out there and they fight, and everybody's like, oh, "It's Tony Ferguson is
Yeah,
fighting,"
exactly.
and everybody's just like, "Dude, he's lost 8 straight fights. Why are we doing?"
Yes.
But you'll still get off your seat to go watch Tony Ferguson
That's right.
fight, and that's M. Night Shyamalan now. He's fatigued. He's hit movie fatigue. Didn't think it was a thing, but he figured it out.
We talked about it too. It's like they just don't know when to hang it up either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ridley Scott keeps making alien movies, and they've been asked since number 4.
Did
you?
they
you
make
guys
this
watch-
last one?
Yeah. Did you guys watch the new Alien movie?
Not yet.
Me either.
It's out on Max already. Like you don't have to see it in
Yeah,
theaters.
yeah, no,
Do you want to join our podcast?
You can close it if you want. If we're loud,
Is that a cleaning lady?
I think so.
no idea.
I
Oh,
think so.
well.
She was horrified when she looked in here.
So
She went like this.
Nothing good is happening. Nothing good
is the
going
door
on in
is the
here.
door closed now? I can't
not all
make
the way
it.
It's only partially closed.
I'm gonna close the door, and Liam's gonna close the door, and I'm gonna tell a quick story about the cleaning people in this facility. One, lovely people, very sweet ladies, and good friends. One of his name was Gladys. She doesn't work here anymore, but awesome people. There is one downfall to these ladies. There is no boundaries of the number of times I've been in this room with the door locked and them knock going, house cleaning, or do you want your room clean? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. And just opening the door, and they open it. And I'm standing there. I'm like, hey, no, it's okay. And they go, whoa. And then here it goes.
That
you know,
was the
right?
face. That was the face. It was horrifying.
It's happening. And I'm like, I change in here sometimes. There's a gym, there's a shower, and I'm like, dog, like,
Well,
how
that's
about what
you
I'm
need
saying?
to do is you say,
don't.
is a house clean, you say, no, my penis is out, and then they'll go away.
That would probably
I have
deter.
thought, like, what if that happens, and I just quickly rip my shirt off just to be like, I need you to know that this isn't okay. I could be like this.
Learn your lesson.
Great people,
Yeah,
real sweet
sweethearts.
ladies, real sweet ladies. All right, guys. So this is the season 2 wrap up. This is also a 30th episode. So let's hear it for us.
30 years.
Let's-
30 years of podcasting.
Who would've
30
thought?
long episodes
30 years.
later, and we are coming to the end of season 2. It's been quite a journey, but we have a little task here, guys. All right, so season 2 wrap up. We will be ranking all movies watched in season 2 individually. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys the list. So you're gonna pull your phone out, chat if you guys
Why
want
don't
to
you
do
just
this at
hand
home.
me that notepad, and I'll write it down. That'll be easier for me.
Okay, I don't know what notepad you're pointing to.
The one right under, like right there.
There we go. This guy. Is there a pen?
I don't know. There should be.
There's a pen on the desk behind you.
You know, they say 80-something% of YouTubers don't make it past 10 videos.
Wow.
We did.
30.
Yeah. 30.
30.
I bet even less.
Kitchen Chemist is like 65.
It's like 95% of YouTubers don't make it past 100 videos.
All right,
or
do you have
30
the
videos.
notepad ready?
I have the notepad.
All right, so I am
The
going.
legal bad. What?
I am gonna.
Oh, it's the legal pad, and someone took the P and turned it into a B with pen.
That's me.
Craig.
That's just what Greg does with his
Confusing
free
my
I just
free
want
time.
you to know what dyslexia is like.
It's like, no, this makes more sense.
It did
as
hurt my
bad.
brain.
Take that.
All right, go ahead.
All
And
right.
So these are the movies that we've gone over the podcast this season.
This season, okay. So this season movie podcast. So number 1 will be Moneyball.
So you're saying that's the start of the season?
This is a start. So this is we got Moneyball, American Beauty,
Oh, boy.
Fantastic Mr. Fox, Con Air, The Accountant. This one just says Seventh Day Chad Dentist,
That was Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Which I wasn't there for, but I have seen that movie, so I think I'm still qualified to rank, right?
I don't know if you're ever qualified to rank anything.
That's true. That's true. Loose interpretation of quality.
So long as he says, "Oh yeah, Old Boy was a great movie that's worth watching."
Capable of ranking.
Okay, then we have the 3 movie watches. So we have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. We have Monkey Man. We have The Watchers.
Wasn't it the? Yeah, it was the Watchers.
I always think it's The Strangers.
That's a different one. That's a home invasion movie.
Yeah.
I think that movie specifically by us has been called something different. Like every time we mention it on the podcast,
because it's the genericers, like
Yeah.
all the lookers. When we saw that one, it just
creatures.
changes every time.
the blinkers.
We've got Godzilla -1. We've got Whiplash. So I'm reading the show titles.
It's tough. It's tough.
It's tough. And like I know these movies, but the show
Dyslexic
titles,
boy strikes again.
staring
surprised.
at the movie and hearing the show title, it's just throwing me
I'm
off.
surprised you got 1 + 1 = dead as the accountant so
Yeah, I
quickly. That was a tough one.
Ink.
Boy.
Good,
I will attack you.
I'll refrain from making sound effects.
Goodwill Hunting. Trap.
That's the time to make
That's
the
a sound effect, yeah.
And I
I think it's it.
believe there is
Was there
some in between. Hold on. I'm looking up. Our Orgo here is leaves something to be desired.
That's on you.
Well,
Mr.
because sometimes
Producer
we do
Man.
live videos and sometimes
That's
we
ex-
don't.
that's
They
exactly
should
it.
all be. There was only one. There was one recorded one.
Right, but when I was reading, okay, so we also have Ricochet.
Oh my God! Yes.
Yeah, so you see,
yo,
it's
that
just-
movie was amazing.
It was amazing.
What do I
Absolutely.
do? So I've never seen Ricochet and I wasn't here for it. Do I just
You
NA?
just
Ignore
leave
it.
that, leave
NA.
that off your.
You need to watch it. It's amazing.
Oh, and then we also
We did
we didn't-
Rustler's Rhapsody.
Rustler's Rhapsody.
Sunrise, sunset.
What you called spaghetti?
Spaghetti sunrise.
That was great because he was on the show, and
I
they're
know.
like that one spaghetti sunrise. He's
Yeah.
like Rustler's Rhapsody,
And I forgot he was the one. I was like, I mean, it's okay. Yeah, it's fine.
All right, so that is the list of movies, and so now on our own on our phones,
Jeez.
let's make your own individual rankings of these movies, and we can do them one at a time. So Nathaniel's got the list in front of him. Were you taking those down, Liam? Or-
Yeah, I got him.
Okay, you
So
got
there's
them.
there's 16 total. So rank them out of 16.
Okay, so why don't you hit me with them one time just so I can write them down here?
Moneyball,
Okay,
American Beauty,
okay,
Fantastic Mr. Fox,
okay.
Con Air,
Mm-hmm.
The Accountant,
Okay,
Hacksaw Ridge,
okay,
The Apes movie,
okay,
The Monkey movie,
okay.
Lookers, Peerers,
Okay.
Seers, Godzilla -1,
Mm-hmm.
Whiplash,
Okay.
Ink,
Ink. Yeah.
Goodwill Hunting,
Okay.
Trap,
And then Rustler's Rhapsody and Ricochet.
and Ricochet. Yeah, should be 16 total. Me count again, just to be sure. Actually, Liam, you count. You're the numbers guy.
Whatever. 16.
Yeah,
60.
just check my math, okay? I'm terrible at head math, including counting.
All right, so while you guys are making your
16.
rankings, chat, if you are at home and you would like to join in this rankings, I will say it to you one more time. So we got Rustler's Rhapsody, we have Ricochet, we have Trap, Goodwill Hunting, Ink, Whiplash, Godzilla -1, The Watchers.
It's a shame that two of the movies I actually really enjoyed in theaters, we can't put on here because we didn't do it. Bad Boys for Life Bad Boys Ride or Die was really good,
That's true. It was.
but it's not on the list.
Monkey Man, Planet of the Apes, Hacksaw Ridge, The Accountant, Con Air, Fantastic Mr. Fox, American Beauty, and Moneyball.
I know Matt's watching, so Matt
Right.
better be joining in on the chat because he just texted me and said, "Is that a Coke Zero you're drinking?"
Matt, thank you for letting us watch Whiplash. Great movie.
That's right.
We've seen kind of all manner of the spectrum here.
Yeah.
This is a wide ranking.
I would say my list was not hard
Yeah.
to create. I got it already. I'm already there.
So Liam's got his list locked in. Liam, why don't you tell us about your trip to Boston while me and Nathaniel finish up our rankings?
It was lovely.
Or was it Boston or was it just home?
Oh, this past weekend?
Yeah.
I was still thinking about Boston and how lovely that was. Oh, it was great, man. It was I did my fantasy football draft with all my friends Saturday. Feel really good about it.
Doing
We can
that
talk
tonight
about that
after
later.
this.
Are you really?
Yeah. I'm
Is that
here.
why? Is that due to the time?
We're doing the
6:30?
earlier time so that we can have the party after, man.
Let's go. Are you? That's on the app though, surely.
Yeah, but we're doing it here in the we rented out.
Are you really?
Rented out the ballroom. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Is that with Evan? Is that Evan's crew?
Yeah, that's
All
right.
right.
Oh, that's fun.
I'm ready.
All right. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we have our season 2 movie wrap up rankings. Let's hear it for the crew.
Woo, we're amazing. Praise us more. Pay us more.
All right.
More.
Jakob, give us money.
Yeah, we do need more money.
So we will start with your least favorite movie. Hit us, Liam.
think it's gonna be the same. Trap. think it's gonna be the same for all three of
I have
us.
Trap on there too.
I have Trap as the bottom one. Let's go.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
And again, that movie was bad.
We've seen some bad ones
That
during
was,
this stretch.
Yeah, I mean, go watch our podcast on it. Like, we go into gross detail about why. Like, we really break down exactly why every single aspect of that movie just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's just a rough movie, man. It was not great, Bob.
It's both nothing happens and the things that happen are annoying.
It's just a cringe-inducing movie,
It's so
and
cringe.
you
Oh,
figure like, okay, I can stand a little pain if it's like, hey, that's a real thing I
Well,
experienced.
like we
and so it was
were just
done
watching.
well.
We were rewatching the Spider-Mans, which
Oh gosh, let's go.
That's a sick shirt.
boy.
I was telling Greg, I came straight from work. I was wearing a white collared shirt, and at lunch, I guess I spilled something like big old dot of sauce or something. And I was like, "This is why I don't wear white." Stopped at Target, found this, and I was like, "Hell yeah!"
That's a great shirt. I actually, after you did your dance, remember you did your dance last time we did a podcast? I had to go back and like watch like the highlights of him dance. It's so bad.
but it's so funny.
It's like,
but like the relationship aspects of Amazing Spider-Man are so cringe.
Yeah.
And I Greg can tell you, I'm sitting there going, "Oh, they could end." Like,
Yeah.
just it was painful to watch. But those movies are still decent.
they
Except
still have
Amazing
something.
Spider-Man 2 is not great,
They have something to offer.
but at least watchable. Trap has nothing. It's just there's nothing that you can recommend about that movie.
Have we talked about your guys' thoughts on the recent Spider-Man that brought everybody back into the fold?
Yeah.
We
And if you
haven't
guys like that
talked
or
about
not?
it on the cast at all, but
I
have
liked it.
thoughts.
Yeah.
I liked
So, oh,
it.
you mean No Way Home?
No,
Yes, No Way Home.
So I feel the same. We've talked about it. Like I feel the same way about Deadpool and Wolverine. Although I like No Way Home more, is that it is it's fan nostalgia in the best way,
Yes.
as the culmination of all this stuff and a love letter to everything that's come before.
Yeah.
The story makes zero sense.
Sure.
But it doesn't have to. So like if you're going in for like a good story, you're really not going to get it. But if you're going in as a Spider-Man fan to see the culmination of everything that's come before,
Yeah.
then it's really heartwarming.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's a great watch for that as a capstone. But the problem is now it's like there's no room for any more Spider-Man after that.
Correct. That's well said.
I feel the same way with
But
Deadpool.
it was like a tugging at the heartstrings
Exactly.
moment, though.
It,
which is
it's
beautiful.
definitely like as a fan, it was perfect. Like,
Yeah.
it's because I mean it also happened before a lot of these. Because now it's everywhere. Now it's lost its value to have people from older franchises come back. You know, they did it with all like the Michael Keaton Batman. Hey, it's just that had never really happened. It was just like, well, Tobey Maguire's done with Spider-Man,
Right.
and so there's not really a way to bring them back that makes sense. And it's like, well, what if we could create this way that it will make sense? And you're going, no way, this is actually going to happen. You get to see the three
that
Spider-Man.
and Deadpool and Wolverine are the only good things that have come out of the multiverse. And I
was
think,
just gonna say the same thing.
legitimately, I think if we just never had the multiverse, I would be okay to give up those two movies.
Yeah. I agree.
But yeah, to finish that thought, that was really fun and great. As far as a story, it destroys everything.
Yeah, it's a terrible story.
The problem is that as soon as you introduce multiverse and time travel and all that stuff, anything that holds any kind of weight, any reason that you have feelings towards something, leave.
No stakes.
And yeah.
Yeah.
You've lost everything.
And I mean, and even like the part that was good about it, which was Tobey Maguire coming back and being kind of like the older dad figure, and Andrew Garfield kind of getting his redemption arc, is kind of like, and the whole plot of the story is, hey, here are some things that went wrong. We can fix them. Like, and anything that's broken can be fixed. Nothing is permanent. There's no
Right.
closure. There's no true closure to anything because we can always reopen it. In that sense, it's an abomination. But I still like that movie quite a lot.
It was a great watch. As far as like a movie afterwards, that you're like, oh, how does this fit into the MCU? You're like, oh no, terrible.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It's,
Terrible.
again, it's a capstone. It closes off everything. Same with Deadpool and Wolverine. They should not make any more.
Yeah.
They will, but they shouldn't.
All right. So that was number 16, Trap. We were unanimous across the board. I wonder if we'll get any other unanimous picks here.
Probably
I'm pretty
not.
sure, even if this is not unanimous, I'm pretty sure my next pick is going to be towards the lower end for everyone.
I think that this has got to be close to the 15 for most people. I was thinking this might be a shoo-in for 15, but I guess I could be wrong. Well, Liam has really not liked a few that we've really liked, so
Yeah.
I'm almost.
So what?
Let me predict.
He's going to
Liam's.
put Ink at 15 just to bug me.
He's going to put Rustler's Rhapsody as this one right now.
Correct.
You dog.
That was a good take.
The thing is,
That's a good
I don't
take.
even have Russell's Ratchet that high, even though I liked it.
Yeah.
But a lot of other movies I just liked more.
That form of comedy is just, I get it. That's one of those movies that, like, it's different than Trap, where it's like, if anybody likes Trap, I'm questioning it. I understand why people like Wrestler's Rhapsody. That form of comedy, which I've tried to encapsulate before, but I always have trouble doing.
Just doesn't hit with you.
It's like meta. Do you consider it meta comedy?
That is definitely a meta comedy, and less in the sense of, because the problem is, like, nowadays meta is like directly look like Deadpool. You
Yeah.
look at the camera and go, ha ha, wink wink.
Yeah.
But really, it's meta in the sense of like Spaceballs is meta.
Exactly. That was the other movie I was gonna.
You don't like
compare it to.
Spaceballs?
No.
Yeah, you're trashy.
I
human
get
being.
it, but I get it. I
And that's
understand.
okay. You know what? Comedy has more subjective elements than maybe any other art form.
Yeah. We've already established that my form of comedy is crass,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I embrace that.
Yeah, you're a trashy human being. You like trash.
Watched Superbad last week, and I
Which,
laughed
hey,
my
I
ass
like
off.
Superbad too.
Yeah.
But I have a low tolerance for that level of
Right.
kind of humor. Like it's very easy for that to just become the only thing,
Yeah.
and it's not particularly clever. And so I think Superbad actually was a fairly clever movie,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I liked it. It was crass,
Superbad is clever,
but it is
I mean,
also clever.
Is goofy.
And you can do both. Like Super Troopers, I think also pulls that off.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but what ends up happening is you're just like, oh, let me just do toilet humor. Like The Boys has just gone into that. Like it's all just as
Yeah.
gross as possible.
Yeah.
And like that's not clever or funny. You're just like, think of the grossest thing you can, and then do that.
Yeah. Well, Superbad also has like a very interesting plot.
Yeah.
Even though
I
it's like a
think
very crass and juvenile
Yeah.
plot that they're just trying to get laid at this party.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it in my
still,
top
like,
10, but I think it's a very good comedy. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I will say, when I was buying these shirts, there was a one that was just the McLovin license.
McLovin. Yeah, it's a classic. But yeah, I got Rustler's Rhapsody.
All right, so
Greg?
Nathaniel. All right, so mine is Monkey Man.
Yep, Monkey Man.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I was like,
This movie's
everybody
terrible.
should pretty much put Monkey Man at the bottom, but I was like, Liam's really disliked a few of these ones.
I can check 2 off. Monkey Man is next for me.
Yeah.
Okay,
By the
okay.
way.
All right.
So we're in the same ballpark.
So
there.
your next one. So my next one is Watchers. That movie bored the tits off me.
So
And I've got substantial tits. It takes a lot to bore them off.
So wait, so the next one is 14.
14.
Correct?
14 for me was Watchers.
So wait, do we want to touch on Monkey Man and our experience of that movie?
Monkey Man, just
Monkey Woman.
so okay, yeah. So I mean, let's be brief. The plot was like the most basic revenge plot, and honestly, like none of the characters ever got actually fleshed out. Like the guru's motivation, he didn't have one. He was just like evil guru man, and then the weird transgender Hindus also made no sense. And then the ending of the movie, and again, this is what like when I think about movies that infuriate me.
Do you think about those a lot?
I think about movie moments when it's like bring up a movie and I'm like, oh, this part of the movie is what made me go from like just kind of passive dispassion to active rancor. And that was when the whole long scene of him washing the monkey mask, and then he puts it on, walks up to the building, and they're like, hey, you can come in here. And then he just takes off, throws it away, and it's not there for the rest of the movie. I'm like, so he's not the monkey man anymore. He's just man.
He's Dev Patel.
And then,
That's
and
why
then, of course,
I,
and I think I'm the only one who cared about this. The guy lighting a stick of dynamite, and then where's the boom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom. Like, yeah, that movie was just terrible.
the only reason that's not below Russell's Rhapsody is because I enjoyed the first half of the movie. Maybe the first third of the movie, I should say.
Yeah,
actually.
I think that's-
it,
I think that's
intrigued
reasonable.
me, and then just fell flat off the cliff.
Yeah, I was marginally into it at the beginning,
Yeah.
and then all the reveals and the resolutions of the plots were all ass, which to me makes me like a movie less than a movie I don't like out of the gate. I'm just not going to engage with it all. But if I engage partway with a movie and then it ruins it for me, I feel worse about it.
Yeah.
All right, so that was 15 is Monkey Man, and I agree. Similar. I think the main thing that I think was disappointing, because obviously the random middle section, the second act with all like the transgender tribe of people that were just that like made him better at fighting ?
Yeah, question mark.
I actually just found the fighting to be lame. The action isn't anything that I thought of it. It's like we kind of went in with this idea of like Indian John Wick. The action was was pretty bad. Shaky
Yeah.
cam the whole time, made me nauseous. So like, I actually just
And also, like, for a movie that's like, oh, it's an Indian movie, like, it wasn't that Indian.
It just the through line of like that Indian legend was what made it.
It was that. But honestly, you could have pulled that from literally any. You could have substituted that for any mythology in any continent.
That is true.
Like, the only Indian part about it was like, oh, look, I'm eating this Indian food, ho ho ho. But you could have been doing that in England, and
Right.
I would have believed you. Like, yeah, this takes place in England. He just stopped by to get a curry. Like,
Yeah. I thought the boxing scenes were interesting.
right in the beginning, were
Yes,
all
everything
right.
that's in the trailer, like all those scenes where it's like,
Which
it's-
is all in the
it's
like first 10 minutes of the movie.
the faded film type view, and it's like the underground. It's real gritty. That stuff looks very cool, even in the movie. But it's all stuff you see in the trailer, and
Yeah.
that is not like he leaves that virtually right away.
Yeah.
and
Right.
he's never back in his boxing.
Yep.
So very disappointed about that movie. So that was. Sorry, what number was that?
That
That was
was
15 for
15.
me and you. That was 14 for Liam, and 14 for you, Nathaniel.
Was Watchers.
Was Watchers.
I just found that movie so boring.
Okay, so the Watchers. We'll get to that a little later when I mention mine.
Oh,
Because-
okay.
because- well, because I think that you guys are. So 14 for me was American Beauty.
That's my next one.
I'm fine with that.
I just
That's low on my
found that
list.
movie to be so uncomfortable to watch, like for a myriad of reasons.
Yeah, I have American Beauty at 13.
And then the more we talked about it, the more I was just like, ah.
I will
Yeah,
say
it's
my
very
bottom
strange.
3 are all movies we watched in theaters. So,
What does that tell you about
movies
the state of movies?
They suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, we did watch movies in theaters that I enjoyed, but they weren't on this list because we didn't talk about Bad Boys Ride or Die, which was actually quite good.
Okay, so what about 13 for you guys?
13 was American Beauty.
13 is American Beauty.
This is going to be, in my opinion, the biggest gap.
Just say it's Ink.
from
Just
my
say
ranking to your rankings.
Just say it's Ink. I will slap you and we can move on.
It's Ink.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's Ink.
Yeah.
Couldn't get past the acting. Just couldn't.
excellent acting in that
Just couldn't
movie.
get past the acting.
Oh my gosh.
I put it over 3 other movies we've seen.
You put it
So
over
that's something.
things that are you put it over Monkey Man and Trap, which
Yeah, the bar is unbelievably low. I'll
that bar
acknowledge that.
that
Yeah.
bar was so low.
It's okay. You're a what is it? Not prodigious. That's definitely not the right word.
He's wrong.
I'm almost the opposite of
You're such an elitist.
I'm,
Can't even accept
I'm
the
almost
indie
the
movies.
opposite of a pretentious moviegoer.
They're pretentious, that's the
I
right-
fully know that I need like I don't even say well-made movies because I get that had
I don't know.
positives,
Liking
but
Old Boy. That's
not pretentious.
Yeah,
Is that,
that's
really?
that is a little pretentious.
It's a little pretentious.
Because there's no way that movie has an audience as far as like mainstream theaters. And
I bet
stuff.
you they do.
No.
I bet you'd be
0%
surprised
chance.
how many people love.
no,
Old Boy.
Old Boy is a. I'm sure there are people that love.
It's a
Old
cult
Boy,
following for
but
sure.
It's like
No,
it's a
I
cult
don't think
movie.
it is. I think
it's a cult movie, and that
it's
makes
more
you
mainstream.
pretentious.
I think
No,
it's more
it is
mainstream than you
not.
think.
There's no way it
It
has
is
like a
0%
super high
chance.
like. There's no way that gets viewed in a theater by people that don't know what they're going to see, and they're like, you know what, that was great.
What
Like,
if I
no.
looked up the Rotten Tomato score? Would that
No,
help my
No,
case at all?
that means the Rotten
Audience
Tomato score
Audience
meaningless.
Score. Audience score.
Meaningless.
Is it?
Yeah, they liked the second Suicide Squad movie. The movie was ass.
They did.
Okay, let me just throw a stat at you, and then we can move on. Old Boy audience score 94%. It says 100,000 plus ratings.
Yeah, they're all perverts.
I mean,
That's not a cult following.
They're pretentious.
Is what I'm saying.
If you're gonna go and watch a movie like that, and you don't know, buckle
No,
up.
100,000 is still in the cult following.
Also, what did we say before? Typically, when the audience score and the critic score are somewhat aligned, indication of a good movie.
Maybe
That was a direct quote.
Well,
More or less
again,
a direct quote.
I used to think that too, and then I saw the second Suicide Squad movie, and the audience score and the critic score were both really high for that, and I was like, okay, we watched a different movie.
Wait, the
'Cause that
second
movie-
Suicide Squad? I like that movie.
That wasn't good.
The one with
It was- it was
remake,
fine.
basically.
Well,
like
how
the
about-
straight
how
up.
about
yeah,
Liam-
it was like
Liam
a
just
70,
has-
but they were like, everyone was like, oh, it's a 95. Like,
Liam,
that
and
movie's
just
not a
no, no,
95.
no.
you just have to
that.
watch Old Boy with your parents. Is that okay?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well then there you go.
It's pretentious.
That should be a red
No,
flag
no,
right there.
Is that the definition of a pretentious?
If you can't
I will
watch
never
a movie
recommend that
with your
movie to
family, except for us, clearly, and then forced us to
Yeah,
watch.
that's true.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. We all knew Liam was going to put Ink way too low.
So wait,
Yeah,
what
we
number
do
was
this.
Ink for you?
Well, it was. I have one
That's
less movie
13.
than you guys, though, so it's 12.
That was 12.
Ricochet is off my list, right?
Okay.
That's 12 for me.
So that's 12 for you. So that's 13. What is 13 for you, Nathaniel?
American Beauty.
American Beauty was 13. Okay, so Planet of the Apes was 13 for me. I just found after watching the 3 originals. Yeah, and I'll just use the 3 Caesar saga, not like all infinity of all the planets. There's a lot, but those movies.
Damn you all to hell!
Those movies are so good, and this movie just nothing. I
Yeah.
mean, not even
It's a pretty
effort.
nothing burger of a movie.
I mean, it might be the definition of no effort put into a movie. Because I'm like, you guys didn't even. You guys are just 300 years in the future, right? This is 300 years past Caesar and whatever. 3 generations. Nothing's changed. You guys went from living in zoos to speaking to walking to building things to all of a sudden 300 years of nothing.
Yeah.
Now you're talking to birds.
Let me just put this in perspective. If you ever meet first-generation immigrants, they usually have a pretty heavy accent, right? Because they usually are learning their second language later in life. And so it's hard to shake the accent. Their kids, second-generation immigrants, usually don't have any accent. The ape language has not moved a single bit. They're still like, I am me. And there's just no advancement of culture. They say time has passed, but no time has passed.
Yeah. My biggest issue nowadays with like media, and I'll tie this into a TV show that I was watching recently, is it seems like they are setting up for the next movie or the next season a lot of times. Like nothing happens in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. House of the Dragon, I just watched. Season 2 is essentially just set up for season 3. Nothing happens. And I hate having to invest so much time into these movies and TV seasons for like, season 3 is coming out in 2026. Get ready for that. It's like,
That's
why did I just spend 8 hours
that's
watching
kind of
season 2?
How I felt about Spider-Man Beyond or Into the Spider-Verse.
The
Which was,
second one.
it was the second one.
yeah.
It's good, but it's definitely like half of a whole movie.
Right.
And I find that very frustrating.
I also feel like it's
I think the height of second sequel of the trilogy is Empire, and Empire is a full and complete movie on its own. Even though it obviously hooks the sequel, it is on its own a full and complete movie.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that the first example I had of this where I was just really struck was Star Wars Episode 7. Like, huge layoff from Star Wars, gets bought by Disney. This movie comes out, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, that was great." Wait, nothing really happened, and you're sitting there and you're left with that, and then of course it doesn't work out because 8's horrible, and then it makes 7 completely terrible. And I'm like, I don't think it's ever worked out. I don't think the stalling technique has ever paid off for anyone.
It doesn't. It just doesn't work because you build up these expectations and you can't. 90% of the time, especially nowadays, people who are writing in Hollywood are hacks. So, all right, why don't you pause, Liam, and we'll do our 12s, and that way we'll all get caught up.
Okay. Yep.
All right, so 12.
What was your 12?
My 12
Mine's a little controversial. This is my hot take.
Ooh, I feel like I know what it's going to be.
You know what it's going to be.
Okay. I'm going to say mine, which is Rustler's Rhapsody.
Yes.
At 12.
Fair.
I feel like yours is going to be Whiplash.
It is indeed. Did not enjoy watching that movie.
Okay, well then actually that's gonna be the biggest
So
gap.
when I'm ranking movies, a lot of times I'm like, okay, if you were to ask me to watch this movie again, how would I feel? And I never want to watch Whiplash again.
So like well, it's just funny because typically it's you and I that have the whole like, or maybe even me more so than anybody.
We don't need to get back into it, but I made my opinion of Whiplash very clear during our podcast of it. I find all of that just abuse just unpleasant to watch.
Yeah.
Just unpleasant. And again, like this is one of the reasons, I can't watch Always Sunny, even though I think it's a very funny show. I can't watch Arrested Development, even though I think it's a very funny show. Or I watched it once, but I would never do it again. Is because if there's no character that I think is actually like good, I don't find it fun to watch. There are some exceptions to that, but they're rare.
Yeah.
I really have to have a character to say, I'm rooting for you to try to be good in this dark world. And there's none of that in this one.
Yeah,
Not for me.
I mean,
the dad is a
there.
good character, but he's so minor that I just didn't have anything to latch on. And I just watching this kid get abused for 2 hours, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it, especially as someone who is a teacher.
Yeah.
It makes me furious. So I can't watch that.
What's the term for like it became popularized with like TV shows like Sopranos, Breaking Bad, where like the main character is
An
objectively an anti-hero.
Yeah.
So you probably wouldn't like those TV shows then.
I mean, no, I got like 3 episodes into Breaking Bad, and I was like, this show is gross.
Because everyone is kind of a dishonorable human being.
And so like Daredevil's super violent and intense, but it has a good character. And yeah, he doesn't make it doesn't mean you make all the right decisions.
Sure.
It doesn't mean you're always doing the right thing. But I'll watch Daredevil. But Breaking Bad, again, there's like no good characters for me to root for.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, same way. And I'm just like, I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm not getting any life lessons out of it other than don't do this shit.
Yeah, shows like Breaking Bad, it's like you weirdly find yourself rooting for Walter White to take over the world.
See, I don't.
See,
I'm like, okay, I
that's
hope
the
the
right
FBI comes and shoot this guy immediately. And then, you know, so this 24. You guys ever watch 24?
Yeah.
I want to say it's the second or third season where the Allstate guy's the president.
Yep.
And his wife is just like the worst human being ever. And the whole time she's just conniving and backstabbing, and you're like, man, I really hope she gets to come up. And then, like, at some point, she just gets full face slapped. And me and my roommate who are watching this, who do not condone violence against women, by the way, stand up and just go, yeah, because you know we want to see justice happen.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's an appropriate longing. I think we end up channeling into bad places a lot of times. But when there's no justice in the movie, I don't like it.
Yeah, I would say that when I watched Breaking Bad, I respected it for being a very well-made show. And
Sure, and again, I thought Whiplash was well made and well acted, but I didn't like it.
Acting was great, but yeah, I mean, it wouldn't. I haven't had no desire to go rewatch Breaking Bad, and I know it's touted as being one of the best TV shows, but I mean, I'm in the same vein. When you don't have characters that instill just some kind of motivation for you. But like there's like a takeaway from a movie I just always find, which is the difference between me and you and Whiplash, is that I think that touched on something super big with what we do in American culture, which is we tend to idolize people that just give up their whole entire lives to be, you know, professional actors or whatever. And this movie's like, yeah, that's terrible. Like we shouldn't, like, even athletes that are just give their whole life to their sport, a lot of them are really unhealthy. And to be
I guess I've never idolized that in any way. So that's why that movie just didn't appeal to me.
Maybe that was it.
That was a sticking point.
So I'm just built different.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're just built different.
I don't know what to tell you guys.
Yeah.
So
you prioritize the important things in life.
Yeah.
Unlike us.
I have my priorities straight, guys. It's all about video games and cooking.
That's helpful.
So we already talked about Rustler's Rhapsody, which was my 12th. You know, fine movie. Probably just didn't land with most of us. I think it'll probably come up for Nathanael here soon. Which is 11 for you guys?
That for me was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It was just
that
like,
was also.
It's just
mine.
like super mid. I could watch it again. I wouldn't want to. It was just like it didn't do anything either
Zero
way.
effort.
Just
Zero
kind
effort
of
in that
boring.
movie.
And that is below 10 for me is Watchers.
Oh,
I think
Wait,
I rated.
what was your 11, Greg?
my 11 was Ricochet. I didn't mention that.
Oh, okay.
11 was Ricochet for me. Nathaniel and I watched that. Liam didn't. I don't know.
Movie was wild and unhinged.
It was like, that is a movie I for sure won't watch again. Like it almost just like, I think Andrew, our guest that week, like said it perfectly, where he's like, I don't know if I like this movie at all. He's like, but it's definitely something I felt like I needed to talk about after I watched it. And we were both like, you know, that kind of makes sense. Like you do feel like you need to talk about, like,
That was
you watch
Denzel,
it,
right?
Yeah.
It's Denzel, it's John Lithgow.
It's wild.
Really weird.
It's wild.
I mean, just made very little sense. So as far as an actual movie, maybe the experience pretty wild, and give it some points for the fact that like Ice Cube at the end and like turned into little rascals. Like it was just bizarre.
Yeah, it was so weird.
But yeah,
That's a good podcast movie, though.
It was a good podcast.
There's good movies where there's not a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Wouldn't necessarily be a good podcast movie.
Yeah.
there you go.
There's bad movies where there's tons to talk about. That's a good podcast.
Yeah. So 10 for me was Rustler's Rhapsody. So we've actually moved over into the part where I actually, from this point on, I enjoyed all the movies.
Okay, so I think I probably need. Let me. Oh, that's a pretty good point. So at what point in these rankings is it I actually started to enjoy these, even if it's at the very bottom of that?
So from 10 onward, these are all movies where if you said, "Hey, let's watch this movie," I'd be like, "Sure."
Okay, let me figure out what that point is for me.
There's like there's a tiering system that I kind of had, like, and we can go into the tiering
I think
system,
9 is probably
tiers.
that limit for me. I think 9 is probably for me at my 9th, because I think 10th I still wouldn't really. 10th is right. 10th is maybe about 50%, maybe about as close to 50% as you can get. And that was Watchers for me.
You would watch Watchers again?
Well, so this is my.
You would see Lookers again?
This is my thing.
You
on
would peep
Watchers.
Viewers again?
It was a unique idea.
That was based on a book.
I don't think the acting was horrible. It wasn't anything amazing.
That guy pissed me off. That young kid. That kid's so
that's
annoying.
true. He was pretty lame.
Yeah.
the story, at least, like, it didn't have huge plot holes, I would say. Like it was just
bad.
kind of a lame story.
And the ending was terrible.
but the ending, wasn't great. I don't know. But I would say all of those were just kind of mad. Like, I wasn't furious at the ending. I didn't love it. I wasn't furious at the characters. I didn't love them. I wasn't furious at the story, but I didn't love it. But
I just found it to be an entirely tedious movie in the same way as Planet of the Apes, but Planet of the Apes at least has some nice things to look at.
yeah, okay. I would say I would give this a little more points for creativity because they did nothing creative in Planet of the Apes. So this one, they had to come up with this whole idea on their own. Like, they had to design everything. Like, hey, we're going to create the backstory, the lore, whatever. Was it all that great? No, but you did do a lot of work in creativity's, name. Sure. So
creativity does get points nowadays.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
For
It's
sure.
like back in the day, maybe this isn't even like mentionable, but now it's like, well, you didn't make a movie that was a sequel or a remake, and it wasn't just
That's
full
true,
of
but
woke
I still,
ideology.
to me, am like gauging it on would I watch it again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that plays
that's why,
into it,
and that's
but-
why I said this is right on that. Maybe you're right. Maybe I would never want to watch Watchers again, but I'm also not. I don't hate it. Like,
So
I'm not
10,
mad at
10 for you as watchers?
10 is Watchers.
10 for you as watchers?
10 for me is Watchers. Yep.
Oh
10,
wow.
10 for me was Russell's Rhapsody.
Okay.
I could watch that movie again. Wouldn't be in a hurry to, but I enjoy. I'd watch it again.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember on the episode we did the three. I don't think you were there for that one. We did rank Watchers the best of the three
Yes.
that we watched.
Yeah,
in theaters.
I think
the best.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I have it above.
above the
No,
other two.
I have it below Planet of the Apes.
Oh, you have
But
it slightly below.
I could flip those.
yeah, I'm indifferent about it. They're both boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a sense, but Planet of the Apes really was boring.
All right, so now we're moving into movies that I actually do enjoy, and this is splitting hairs as far as like the movies that I like more than other movies that I like. And this will be funny because I think that we have one or two I already know, like with you having Whiplash Solo and Liam having
Ink Solo.
Ink Solo. It's going to make this a little
I'm really
bit funny.
curious to see how high you guys put Ink. There's no way you can put it over some of these movies, but we'll see.
Oh, you're gonna get real mad.
There's
where I
no
put it.
way.
All right, so number 8.
If you put it over
No,
Good Will
we're on
Hunting.
number
Sorry,
nine.
number 9. What do you guys have for 9?
I have Ricochet. I actually
Ricochet for 9.
I actually enjoyed watching the movie.
You would go back and watch that.
I would
just
because it's
nightmare
so
of a movie.
wild. I would watch it with someone else to just be like,
Maybe
you
with
want to watch a
somebody
crazy
else.
movie? And it wasn't that long, and it's interesting. Like
I feel
stuff is always
I feel
happening.
like Liam kind of wants to watch this. Like he's looking
think
at
I might like
he's
it.
like, what the hell is going
and now,
on?
You might like it, you might not like it, but it's a really interesting movie.
I think
Bottom line,
It's-
I'm intrigued.
yeah,
It's an insane. It's kind of similar in the vein of Con Air in that like crazy shit just happens.
and no, it's not even addressed. It's like it's
Yeah, it
like
just
like
happens.
they flipped like a scene of John Lithgow in prison, right? Because he gets arrested at the beginning, and the whole idea is he breaks out, and then now he's going after the cop that put him away. And the scene in prison, they are in. This is like a normal time period, like whatever. It's from 15 years
the
ago,
90s.
whatever. Yeah. So, but they go to the prison, and it's these two guys with phone books duct taped all over them to look like Civil War
Gladiators.
armor, and they've got giant poles sharpened into swords, and
they've
they're
got-
having a gladiator match in the
they're
dining
having,
hall.
They're having a gladiator match with phone book armor and barbell spears.
Yeah.
and
Why?
he just like he stabs the guy through, and they all start cheering, and then life just goes on. Like
Yeah.
the prison there's no addressing. I'm like, where are the guards? Wait, are you now like going to be put in solitary? Are you now like
Nope.
are you going to be put on death? Nothing is even addressed. Like the
So
guards,
wild.
it's just and then the movie just proceeds on. I'm like, what was this?
And
That's
then,
what
and then
prison-
it
that's what
keeps
prison's like.
escalating. And it escalates in like a really harrowing, like it's very like. Obviously, there are those moments which are just so ridiculous you laugh at it. But generally, like once he gets out of prison and he starts like gaslighting Denzel in a really horrible way.
Yeah.
and it's like brutal and dark, and it gets him like to the very edge. And then the ending just takes a complete left turn into Bonkersville.
Yeah.
And the ending is just one of the wild. You're just like, what? And he comes up with this insane plan. Spoiler alert, and it like just works. And you're like, what is happening? It's amazing.
He like blows up a building and jumps out a garbage chute while he blows the building up, while like playing into the whole idea that he's gone crazy.
fantastic freeze frame of the mannequin falling into the great mannequin shot. It's fantastic.
It'll blow your mind. Like
amazing.
yeah, I guarantee you will not know what's coming next.
It was one
in
of those
that
things
movie.
where when we finished, we was like, I can't believe that movie got made, and then they finished that, and we're in the cutting room floor and looking at it like, yeah, this is good.
There are also just very graphic,
Yeah, there's some
sex scenes and
really-
just like like you're sitting there and
It's
you're just
really
like
intense at points.
like he gets drugged in like really rough
Yeah,
ways.
basically,
and then-
he's like, I don't want to kill him. John Lithgow's like, I don't want to kill Denzel. I want to
ruin
basically
his life.
ruin his life and have him like I was in jail, feeling hopeless. I want him to feel as hopeless as I did in jail, but I don't want him to die.
And so he just keeps.
So he just keeps like
just a lot.
messing with. It's just
I kind of want to watch it now.
it's pretty.
I'm watch it tonight.
I'm gonna again. I'm kind of with you. I don't know if it was a good movie or not.
Oh, definitely was not
But
a good movie. I'll break that ice
thoroughly
for you.
enjoyed
It is
watching
not.
it.
It is not a good movie.
I thoroughly enjoyed watching it just because of how absurd it was. It's just every time you think you know what's going to happen, it just takes a complete left turn.
It definitely sounds like Con Air. The way you're describing it, I'm not saying it is Con Air.
Again,
but
it's not
similar
nearly as
vibes.
lighthearted as Con Air.
dare
It's
do that.
much
I'm
darker than
sorry.
Con Air, but it has a similar feel in terms of the wackiness.
The
of it.
wackiness, yeah.
So that was 9, right?
Yes.
All right. So 9 for me. Did you say yours, Liam?
Am I on 9?
Yeah.
American Beauty.
American Beauty's 9.
Yeah. It's only that high because the acting.
You would have put it higher if it had better acting.
No. I'm
no,
putting
it's
it
only
that high because of
Oh,
the
you thought the acting carried it.
No.
You said it's only that high. I would have put it higher.
The acting. I mean, Kevin Spacey's great. He's one of the greats.
He is great.
The wife is really
In that
I think,
movie,
does a phenomenal job.
Yes, the movie is made very well. It's just there's so many uncomfortable elements
Yeah.
of that movie that it just had to stay so low for me. I mean, that was literally my second or third to bottom, just because I was like, it was. But yes, I get it. Like it won Best Picture that year.
I know.
I
That's
mean,
one of the most like
it's wild.
critically acclaimed head scratchers
Yeah.
in recent memory. Is American Beauty.
Yeah.
It's like why?
well, I
was
mean,
this?
we know who's in Hollywood. We know what
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it
Not
didn't
gonna say
shock me
anything
that
that's gonna
they
get me
that they
killed
weren't-
by the Clintons, but
Right.
we know why why Hollywood liked that movie. They always like it.
That's
They like the same
true.
thing in Moonlight, was it? Or Call Me by Your Name?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Oh,
Call Me
yeah.
by Your Name is brutal.
Yeah, brutal.
That was
Her name was just straight up illegal,
yeah. I mean,
and everyone was like, "Yes,
I mean,
It was so
was
brave.
illegal in kind of the
Strong.
same vein.
so brave."
what? It's just a man and a 14-year-old man.
Yeah, this is normal to us.
All right, so that was 9.
That is the end, by the way, of the
Movies-
dislike to strongly hate tier for me.
So now it's getting into like movies.
Everything
for
else
you.
is liked.
Okay,
Yep.
so this is my 9, and I've already started to like movies. This is probably the start of it. I think I was convinced by Nathanael that Watchers is not a liked movie by me. So we'll start at 9, and that is Hacksaw Ridge. Phenomenal movie. I'm typically like, if it's a war movie and it's in my upper echelon, it has to be like the greats, because I think there does exist like the greats of war movies, at least in my category.
Give me a couple.
I like Saving Private
Yeah,
Ryan.
of course.
I like We Were Soldiers, Black
it.
Hawk Down. Those are kind of like my upper ones. Black
Yeah.
Hawk Down gets some flack for being too like Hollywood-esque, but Hans Zimmer does the music. It's really good.
Yeah.
So, but
Hans Zimmer did the music. Greg didn't even see the movie. He just has the soundtrack.
I'm such a
Just listens to the
fanboy of Hans
soundtrack.
Zimmer. It's
He really is a
terrible.
Hans Zimmer fanboy.
But Hacksaw Ridge, it was funny. This is the show, and again, that Liam wasn't here for, but we talked so much about how the actual story is so unbelievable and mind-blowing that the movie, it almost hindered the movie a little bit. But Garfield does an amazing job. It was a great watch. I would watch it again. Lower on my list of war movies, just because I'm not...
you wouldn't think a fat orange cat would do that well in World War II, but shockingly.
All right, so now...
He just run around throwing lasagna at
Hit him with the horn. All right, so now we are to number 7. What do you guys have?
Are you sure about
Sorry,
that?
number 8. What do you guys
Fans
have?
can't count.
Let's put it this way: if Matt Maxwell is still watching, he will be disappointed by this.
Moneyball?
Is it fantastic?
Fantastic, Mr. Fox.
At number... Wow.
Again, keep in mind this is a tier that I like.
Yes. Okay. But at this point, I'm not appalled or upset.
Yeah.
Except for maybe a couple of them that we'll fuse
There's
over,
only
but-
one of your rankings that has appalled me, but I knew it was coming, so I'm not shocked.
Yeah, Fantastic Mr. Fox is so fun. It's
Yeah.
so much fun. This is a tier, so I got 2 movies in this tier. Really enjoyed. Will never watch again. I will never watch Fantastic Mr. Fox again.
You really won't?
No.
With
no.
the soundtrack and how short it is, it
No
is a
interest.
short, easily digestible, fun soundtrack. Amazing voice acting. You get to hear Owen
Fun
Wilson
story.
randomly. Like it's a great movie.
It is. I'm not disagreeing. I wouldn't say great. I mean, it's a really good movie. I just won't rewatch it again. Wes Anderson, even though this is at the top of his filmography,
Bro,
in
have
my
you watched
opinion,
Grand Budapest Hotel?
I have. It's good.
And you don't think that's better than
I'll never
Fantastic
watch
Mr. Fox?
that again.
Seriously? That movie's so
never.
good.
Wes, it's something about, I don't know.
Liam-
Just a mental block. Maybe.
Liam also throws out the "I'll never watch it again" pretty frequently.
Yeah, if you guys put it on, I'll probably watch it. But I'm not going to watch it on my own accord. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to
You
be like,
won't
hey,
seek
you know
it
what? We
out.
should watch Fantastic Mr. Fox.
That's fair.
Yeah. Sorry,
All
Matt.
All right, Nathaniel, what do you got for 8?
The Accountant.
The Accountant. That's good. I mean,
I don't know what to say
great
other
movie.
than I enjoyed it. It was a good movie.
Yeah. Higher on that list for me, but I have for number 8, I have Whiplash. I like this movie a lot. It's in my liked movies.
Wait, you have it higher? Ugh.
Yeah.
He hasn't said it yet, so clearly he does. But yeah, it's not. It doesn't hit me in the feels that the other ones do. For me, I'm with Nathaniel in the sense that I don't necessarily love just abuse, although I think his abuse in that movie at some times was just hilarious. I mean, the line where he's like,
Oh, so
You can't
funny.
say it.
if you give a blank a calculator, he's gonna try to turn on a TV with it. It's just like it's just J. Joe Jameson just like spewing off insults.
I will
like-
say, much to my own chagrin, I have kind of started saying, not quite my tempo.
It's good. It plays in any situation.
it is a charming enough insults that like I can get through it, but also for me it was mainly just the message at the end. I really like. It's something that I think should get highlighted more is the fact that praise and acclaim and all that stuff isn't always just great to strive towards. It can be an unhealthy
What,
thing.
show your abusers that their abuse worked?
No, the movie is showing that it's not always great just to be the greatest at something. It's
Really?
really
Because I thought
unhealthy.
the movie was giving you the opposite message. I think you're getting the opposite message that they were putting forward.
No, if you
I think
if you go and
we
watch,
talked about this in the
yes,
episode.
you go and
We
watch the
did.
interview with the director. He wrote this because he was a jazz drummer who had an abusive teacher, and he wrote this to be like there's no redeeming value for Fletcher whatsoever.
You're
so,
wrong.
So
Wrong.
functionally, yes, like I'm right in that.
You're wrong.
But anyways, I still have it lower just because lower amongst the movies I like for that reason. But all right, so that was
8. Now we're on 7.
So now we are on 7.
Now it's my turn to make Liam mad.
Here we go.
Don't.
Moneyball.
Moneyball at 7.
Wow.
It's a sports
Okay,
movie. I'm
we-
not
yeah,
making
yeah,
a
yeah.
again.
You're
This
right,
is
you're right.
once we get past 10, I liked
Yeah.
all these movies.
Yeah.
But it's a sports movie, and if you said, hey, pick a sports movie to watch, I'm picking Remember the Titans. So
Yeah.
like
I-
Moneyball would
yeah.
I
would
do agree. Remember the Titans is the
good,
best, best sports
but
movie ever.
it's not my go-to. I enjoyed it. Have no desire to watch it again. I could if you put it on, I'd watch it.
I understand where you're coming from. I think this is
Kind of the same way you feel about Fantastic Mr. Fox. That's how I
sure.
feel about Moneyball.
There's movies like Remember the Titans where you don't even have to like sports, but you can get on board with what's going on. Moneyball is very granularly sports related.
Yeah.
Like if you don't like sports,
Yeah.
I totally get not. I mean, I think you can acknowledge how good of a movie it is. Brad Pitt's awesome. Jonah Hill's great, but I can totally understand not buying into it.
No, I enjoyed the math part of it.
Yeah,
Again, it was a good movie. It's just like I'm not a big sports movie guy.
Yeah.
that's fair.
It's not my favorite genre.
I think that's probably
Genre.
well. We'll get to that one when we get later. When
Unless we're talking
Liam and I
Space
mention it.
Jam. That's the greatest sports movie of all time. Sorry, I misspoke.
It's really good.
Space Jam, then Remember the
Space
Titans.
Jam's awesome.
Liam, did you say you're 7?
7 for me. This is the tier of really liked. We'll never rewatch Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge. Okay, and that's fair for me. That's right around where mine Hacksaw Ridge is a couple points ago. Great movie. I have Fantastic Mr. Fox here. Think it's great, man. I don't know what you're saying as far as you'll never watch it again. Like I found that to be one of the easiest, most pleasantly digestible movies. It is short. It is visually just fun to look at. The voice acting is all like you can tell they cared about the characters. And the soundtrack is good. Like you can't really go wrong. Is the story deep and compelling? Whatever. I mean, like not really, but it's fine. It was a great story.
It's based off a Roald Dahl book. It's
Yeah.
a children's story,
Yeah.
and it's done in a way that children and adults can enjoy. That's what makes a good
The
children's
book's
story.
better.
If it hit like if the story was like like breaking and compelling, and it might be just all like skyrocketing. But for me, story's just kind of just basic and fine. But all the other elements are so good. It's visually great, audibly great.
Yeah.
So great movie.
Soundtrack.
Why would I rewatch
The
Fantastic?
musical. One thing you have to admit, Wes Anderson does so well is the musical stings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
sure.
always just perfect.
Why would I rewatch Fantastic Mr. Fox when I watch Dumb and Dumber again? You know what I mean?
Because
That's the
you-
question I
you
have to
don't
ask
hate
myself.
yourself?
That's the question I have to ask myself. I'm scrolling. I'm
Liam
like,
Maxwell's hot takes.
I'm seeing what do I want to watch tonight? Do I want to watch Fantastic Mr. Fox?
Let's move
Or
on.
do I want to watch
Let's
Dumb
move on
and
before I
Dumber?
punch Liam.
Let's-
I'll probably watch Dumb and Dumber.
All right. So now we're getting into we're dangerously approaching.
We're in number 6.
Yes.
When we're in number 5, that's when we're dangerously approaching.
Okay, well, I was gonna say dangerously approaching the top 5, but we're not there yet. 6 is approaching the top 5, so don't steal my words.
Okay.
We are approaching the top 5, so we're getting close to the top echelon here. What do you fellas have for 6, Nathaniel?
Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge at 6. That is valid.
It's a very good war movie.
yeah.
And I like that you had a character of faith who wasn't a
This is
total
true.
bastard.
Yeah,
This is
definitely.
This is true.
And this movie came out in 2016, so it's like relatively recent, 8 years, but relatively recent. No, a modern era movie that isn't like, what, you believe in Jesus? You suck.
Garfield's best role of his career thus far.
Yeah, I would agree.
Amazing.
You guys
That
ever see
movie.
Silence?
Of the
I
Lambs.
saw the first half of it. It's a long movie.
It's very
and
long.
It is. Is
that the one
it's
about
tough.
the-
It's
tough.
so it's about the Catholic priests that
in
went to
Japan, right?
It's
Yeah, that
Japan,
one's
and
brutal.
it's Liam
I read the
Neeson.
book.
I think
It's
also.
Adam Driver.
Adam
Also,
Driver.
yeah.
It's
Loaded cast.
Yeah, it's tough. Obviously, amazing job, very gripping. But yeah,
There's some moral dilemmas in there
yeah,
that are pretty intense to wrestle with.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
To watch it. It's worth watching.
It's a tough one. All right, 6 for you, Nathan.
I read the
Liam.
book.
I got The Accountant.
The Accountant at 6. I thought you'd have that higher. I don't know why. Well, maybe because it's Affleck. So,
Yeah.
which
Your boy.
Speaking of-
Shilling for your boy.
Yeah.
speaking of Affleck, I just watched a movie in theaters with Casey Affleck.
The Instigators?
Slingshot.
Is that what's that about?
You should
Space
go.
trip.
You should just go and see it. You shouldn't look up anything about
It's
it.
got Morpheus in it.
I'm telling you,
I
it
just
is.
wanna know if I
It's
know
the
what it
highest. It's the highest that I've graded a movie that I've seen in theaters in like
Are you serious?
2 years.
Oh
probably.
my gosh! All right, well I will 100% watch it then.
Granted, you got to think of the last 2 years of movies, so nothing
Yeah,
low bar.
amazing. It's
so
not-
it's a 5.
it's not getting over like a lot of the upper echelon of the movies we're talking about now. But as far as a movie that I was pleasantly surprised in and really enjoyed the watch and had good acting,
Wow.
go watch it. It's got your boy.
Yeah, it does have my boy.
He's wicked smart.
They put out a movie, him and Matt Damon, called The Instigators. And I heard it was ass,
Unlucky.
which really hurts. It hurts. It hurts too much. Anyway, I digress.
All right, top 5. Wait,
All right,
This is
you doing
6
six?
for me.
Yeah, go ahead.
6 for me.
I don't care.
I don't care. 6 for me is Ink.
Yuck.
Okay.
You
So-
guys saying I was pretentious moviegoer.
It's not, dude. That story is so good.
But that is pretentious.
No,
and it's fine.
It's not pretentious.
and it's fine.
I think just liking an indie movie is not pretentious.
it doesn't make it pretentious.
I think. Okay, go ahead.
I don't understand.
If we're saying
that.
Ink is
I think
better,
putting it
so
over
I
like
think
Hacksaw Ridge though is bordering on
right, but it
pretentious.
depends on what your metric is. If your metric is, oh, what was the budget? Smaller budget, better. Then yeah, that's pretentious.
I'm gonna look up the definition of pretentious.
I also think I got out of order on these. Did I miss one? Did I give you all of mine?
I've been check marking off as we go.
Pretentious.
Okay, so I said
Attempting to impress by affecting greater importance
no.
than is actually possessed.
Wrong.
So it's not pretentious because we legitimately think Ink is a better movie than these other ones we mentioned.
Okay, so I'm not pretentious for Old Boy.
That's fine. Like,
Yeah.
I only
Okay,
mentioned
there-
that because
there we
you,
go.
you
You're just
tried
wrong
to,
about
there
Old
we go.
Boy. They're not pretentious. You're just wrong.
Okay, that's fair. That's more acceptable of a critique. Go ahead.
So my top 10. I said Watchers. Then I said, oh shoot, what did I say after that? Does anybody remember?
I don't
Then
know,
I
man.
said
It's your
I said
list.
Hacksaw Ridge.
I haven't
Okay.
been listening to a single word you said, Greg.
It's your list, buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah, what are we
you see
supposed
me?
to do?
I'm checking them off as I get to them.
Figure it out over there.
Oh, okay. No, we're good. We're good.
All right.
Sorry, I got off for a second. I'm back. Ink was my 6, and it's a super creative movie that has arguably the most Christian theme of any of these movies watched. It was very well done. I am a sucker for creativity. I like it because it's the hardest thing to do.
He's saying he's
If
a
you-
sucker for novelty.
If you have a ton of money, you can make a movie that looks like the Avengers, and it can be terrible. You can have $1 billion budget, and you can make the Rings of Power, and it could be some like the worst things I've ever seen. If you have really good actors, you can have really good acting, and that can be present in any movie. You can have a lot of these elements. You can make a really good soundtrack, even if it's a bad movie, and I've addressed that too. But to come up with a creative idea, a story for a movie, is the most impressive part, in my opinion, of movie making. Like, if you come up with something that is unique that nobody else has thought of, that to me gets points. This is why Watchers wasn't the last. It was like, hey, the movie didn't do anything great, but it was a unique idea. Inc. was a unique idea, and it was executed well for the fact that it had $12 of a budget, and they were using like random
$12
things.
of a budget, and I think one of the best villain designs
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
in a lot of movies.
That alone
And,
should skyrocket.
It's so
it
good,
up.
and really, Ink is a movie that I almost wish they would remake with a
with a big
not
budget.
a huge budget,
Sure.
but like a budget
of any
and
kind.
some solid actors.
Yeah.
And I think it would be an S tier
You
movie.
should keep the same actor for the guy with the X's on his eyes, though. He was great.
But the thing is, if you remake it, you cannot change the design of the Nephilim at all.
That
Because they
would
were
look really good
awesome.
with
Or
like
the Incubi.
high budget.
Yeah.
Like that would.
Yeah.
Does it look good as is?
Yeah, it looked good as is.
But maybe the simplicity of it is
Well,
actually. what
yeah,
made it
and
work.
No, I think that would be pretentious if I was like, oh, like you look at how authentic and gritty. No,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm addressing
Yeah,
the fact that
I
like
think
they don't have a big budget.
I think that
and
that
it hurts.
movie is one where the budget is so low that it does actually affect the movie.
Yes,
Yes.
of course,
In,
yeah.
in a negative way, but not too bad. But definitely in like the locale.
You can tell,
Honestly, there
like-
were a shocking large number of locales for how low their budget was.
Sure.
But you can tell that they were stretching their budget as far as it could go to get everything to look
Even
the way
to the
they
point
wanted
of
it
like the cameras are even just lower quality.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I
Keep in mind, it
I-
was 2008.
Yeah,
so
I instantly gave it a
I think
pass.
if it
in
was
my
made
head.
today with the same budget, it would look better.
Yes, I instantly gave it a pass in my head for okay. I'm taking this for what it is. It's a very low budget movie, but it just blew me away with how impressed I was at those few elements. So it is at 6 for me. So now we are getting into the big boys. Playing with the big boys now. That's that soundbite we need to get. Prince of Egypt. That's what we should watch.
What was that movie?
Prince of Egypt?
Bruh,
Yeah.
You ever seen Prince of Egypt?
No.
Nathaniel's
Bruh.
Jewish, dude.
I'm offended.
Whatever.
You've disrespected my people. Get out.
All right, so we are into the top 5. Liam, start us off. What
Let
is
me ask you
number
guys a question while I remember.
Okay.
Because my dad is an avid viewer.
Okay.
You guys are aware of this?
Yes.
And he was wondering, because I don't think we've ever talked about this subgenre of movies. Have you guys ever seen the Godfather movies?
Yeah,
We have.
yeah.
I've seen the Godfather
seen
movies,
okay.
yeah.
I've seen the
Goodfellas?
first one.
Goodfellas.
I've not
the
watched
whole thing.
Goodfellas.
That's like the other.
Yeah.
That one
and then
and
Casino.
the mob movie.
There's one called Casino.
Yes, you guys haven't seen Casino?
I've seen one of them a long time ago.
I watched The Godfather. It's a very, very good movie. It deserves
Yeah.
all the praise that it
Godfather's
gets.
great.
Yeah.
It is a little on the long side.
Yeah.
It is very long.
Yeah.
It's a really long movie, but
Feels
it's a
pretty
really
long.
good movie.
I asked because one of his favorite movies ever is Goodfellas. And I think it's where me and him differ the most as far as our
You didn't
opinion
like
on the
it?
movie. I don't think Goodfellas is good, but it is.
It's bad, fellas.
It's
Midfell-
universally
it's
praised.
Midfellas?
It's Midfellas. Maybe even lower than Midfellas.
It is also like it's used as an example in a lot of cinematography critics because there's a lot of in the dialogue. Specifically, there's one with Joe Pesci. There's a scene with Joe Pesci where he's like, what? I'm funny to you, like
Yeah,
that whole
yeah,
scene,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's actually like a terribly constructed scene. Like if you actually, I've watched a cinematographer go through it frame by frame. And he's like, nothing, like all the bottles on the table are completely rearranged every time they flip to the other person. He's like, nothing was done properly in the scene. He's like, it's amazing because Joe Pesci is doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, but I don't think that, I think that some people try to lean into like, oh, they're purposely, and that makes me angry.
way. Yeah,
like
no.
I'm just like, no, it was poorly done. It doesn't mean that it's a terrible movie, but we can address that was poorly done. Like they could have done a better job. Like I know what not doing a good job your camera work looks like, and if that happens, just address it.
Yeah.
So I think some of them get a little immortalized, and it's like, oh, this is the greatest ever. Look how they did this, and it worked for them. And I'm like, I think that they just did a poor job with that, and it's fine to say, fine to say it's a great movie. I personally just mob movies aren't big on.
I
that.
agree. I kind of agree with
I'm
that.
not
yeah.
blown
Kind of
away
for the
by-
same reason I don't like,
Yeah.
like mob
Oh, yeah.
movies inherently don't have good characters.
Yes, they're mainly focused on.
I guess with the Departed is technically a mob movie, right?
but that's about catching the bad mob guy.
Sure, but
I
it's
guess
still a mob
technically.
movie.
And well, it's a cop movie. It's
I
an
think
undercover cop.
This
movie.
might be just naive of
But
me.
spoiler
But whenever
alert,
I
he
think
doesn't
of
win,
whenever I
so-
think of mob movies, I think of the Italian mob,
Mamma mia.
like Casino, Goodfellas, and Godfather is all Italian. mob.
Yeah.
That's like Departed is what the Irish mob.
Sure, but like, there are other ones.
I
Like,
guess
So
it's
would,
same-
we,
it
would
is
you
mob.
consider? Oh crap! What's the name?
like
The
American.
guy with the Irish assassins, Willem Dafoe.
Boondocks.
Oh, Boondock
Boondock
Saints.
Saints. Would that be a mob movie?
Dude, you guys seen that movie, right?
I haven't.
Liam has
We've already
not
talked
seen
about that.
Boondock
I
Saints.
haven't
You would
seen
like.
it.
You'll
I know
like
I
it.
would
It's
like it,
funny.
yeah.
It's definitely like a college movie.
Yeah.
Not in terms of like it being crass humor.
Yeah.
But in terms of just like the aesthetic of like, oh, these two badass assassin Irish dudes.
Yeah.
And they're Catholic.
That's kind of a
Catholic.
cult movie.
Yeah, it's
when
definitely
you
not
say.
like
The second one,
it's
they
really bad.
replace. They have like a sidekick, and the second one they replace the sidekick. No explanation. It's just a different guy,
so
and they just
annoying.
act like is. And I'm like, what the hell
I
happened?
hate when movies, series do sequels
Right.
do that.
All right, so here we are. We are breaking into the top 5.
Top 5. What's yours,
And,
Greg?
My number 5, Godzilla -1.
Nice.
That's a little lower than I thought it would be for you.
Well, there's a lot of good movies here.
Yeah, no, it's getting tight. It's getting tight.
There's a lot of good movies here.
My number 5 was Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Okay.
But I am a huge Wes Anderson fan. I just love the meticulous construction of his movies.
Yeah.
Like just in general. And I I don't love all Wes Anderson movies the same. I think Grand Budapest Hotel is my favorite, but every single Wes Anderson movie has the gorgeous visual construction. Everything
It really
is
does, yeah.
really meticulously planned out. The acting's always top notch because he has all his boys
Yeah.
that are
Everybody
in every
wants to
movie,
be
and they're
in
all
them.
top notch actors. So you always have Jeff Goldblum and Bruce Willis and Edward Norton and
Yeah.
Bill Murray,
Adrian Brody.
and Adrian Brody are in every single that guy.
Yeah.
Can't say it.
Can't say that. In every single movie, so he always has star power, just because he makes. And I get the impression that these movies are very fun to be in.
Sure.
George Clooney's in them a lot too. But yeah, and I will say, the only downside to that is that all the Wes Anderson movies have a very familiar feeling.
Yeah, that is something that
Because it's like a Wes Anderson movie. So I don't think you could. I don't know if you could. I would marathon Wes Anderson movies.
No, yeah.
But I do enjoy all of them.
So my-
And Fantastic Mr. Fox is up there on my enjoyment of them.
my Fantastic Mr. Fox is my second favorite Wes Anderson. My favorite is Rushmore, which is funny because that is one of the few that it has Bill Murray, but other than that, it stands apart a little bit. Like the main character is a high schooler, and he's excellent. Like the movie is just it's very Wes Anderson, but it's. Yeah, I don't know. It's great. If you guys haven't seen Rushmore,
That's always high on the
it's
the
worth
Wes
watching.
Anderson movie rankings. Is Rushmore?
Is Rushmore?
I've never seen it.
Never
though.
seen it?
No.
I haven't
Nathaniel?
seen that one either.
That's worth a watch.
He's made a lot of movies. I've seen. I think I've seen like half of them.
It's shorter too. Like it's an easy watch. It's a lot of fun. All right, Liam.
Mine is Whiplash,
Whiplash at 5.
and this is an elite tier. But Whiplash, we talked about that on the episode. I think I do relate to the pursuit of worldly greatness and the balance of that. That was Matt's episode.
Yeah.
I
It was
think-
great. It was a great episode.
I mean, I think it's super well done. It makes me laugh out loud harder than every movie on this list for probably the wrong reasons, but it does. J.K. Simmons,
Are you rushing, or are you dragging?
so good.
Are you upset? Tell the class that you're upset. I am upset.
it's
It's
so
terrible, dude. It's terrible.
This is part of a 4-movie grouping, which is great movies, would rewatch them at any point. Accountant Whiplash is the first 2 of those 4. Now we're in like a separate tier for me.
Okay. So I said 5 for me was -1, and considering that neither of you guys have said that yet, so this is going to be higher. When we get to your guys, we'll talk
Mine
more
is
about.
one higher.
We'll talk about. Okay.
Mine
You
is
are
also
you are
one higher.
-1.
So
for
you
my
were,
ranking.
your ranking was 5 -1.
Yes.
For
Yep.
both of you guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
So 4 is the accountant for me.
Wow,
I
okay.
know.
pretty
I did not. I didn't think when I watched it that it would be this high. The longer I've gone after, because this is good for me to digest movies. Like I'm one of those people that needs to think about it a little bit more. I needed to do that with The Batman because I came out of that theater like, oh, dude, oh yeah, The Batman, and it took me like from the walk to my car to realize that I'm like, I think that movie might have been stupid. I think it catfished
I
me.
realized that as soon as the ending happened. I was like, wait a minute. This movie's
I
ass.
remember in the parking lot, we were like unraveling that it might be.
we were
like,
kind
wait.
of like, yeah, and then I
Coming
was
on
like,
those threads.
well, then there was this and there was this, and we just kept going
you know
until
what?
by the end I was like, maybe that was a bad movie. But no, having more time to digest The Accountant, I really don't dislike much of anything about this movie. I think J. Joe Jameson it also plays a good role in that movie. I think Affleck does he comes across really good as an awkward, quiet guy. His chemistry with
Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick is really good. She also does a good job at being kind of awkward. The action is great. His relationship with his brother in the movie is great and has a little bit of humor in it. I find that really pleasant and rewatchable, pretty much in every way.
Yeah.
So it slowly, as I was thinking about these, it just kept climbing its way a little bit above, and it was very close with -1 in this one, just because I could also watch -1 over again, like right now. I just think that maybe the action is just a little more interesting to me in the accountant and the love dynamic with him and Anna Kendrick that I think I could maybe digest that a little bit more. I was splitting hairs. They're both really high on my list.
The dad relationship is really interesting in The Accountant too.
Yeah, and that created a lot of discussion for us. I mean, it bleeded over into Whiplash, as to being like, hey, bled over. There you go. Thank you. With that being an example of, hey, this is a guy he's probably doing this the wrong way too. Well, we'll go with definitely doing the wrong way, hiring assassins to beat up your sons. But he did constantly let them know that he's like, I'm doing this for you, and I'm doing it because I love you. So you're like, okay, well, maybe you're completely wrong with how you're executing it, but you're showing your kids that you love them, and you're making sure you tell them to the point where, like, you would take a bullet for one of them by the end. So we can tell that you're a dad that loves your kids, and that reflected well on them, but you just did that in the wrong way by turning them into assassins.
We didn't actually talk about Godzilla's -1.
No, that's what I'm saying. We're getting into it when
so 5 for you, 4 for us.
Yes.
We were talking about, you mentioned like much earlier how, Rings of Power, Acolyte's like $180 million for 8 episodes. Rings of Power is $1 billion. So these things are costing $50 million an episode. And Ant-Man versus the Wasp, Quantumania, or whatever the hell it was. And it, the color palette is like someone ate an entire bag of Skittles and downed a bottle of Goldschlagers and then vomited it up. Like it's just a visual slop. And then Godzilla -1 coming in with $50 million budget and just wiping the floor visually with all of these guys and making a really compelling character-driven movie. Like, damn, that movie kicked ass.
If Hollywood was smart, they should use that as a template.
Yes, exactly.
But they won't.
It should have changed a lot. Like, that movie should have changed a lot for a lot of people, and it's just sad to me that not enough people have seen it because
sadly, I think executives are like, well, it's a Japanese movie, so it's different. It's like anime, whatever. He's doing its own thing.
It was just, like, it's Japanese, so it's just better than everything that you people are putting out there. Like, I'd like to see one.
If you look at comic sales versus manga sales, absolutely yes.
I'd like to see one studio try to work with that budget and make anything. Make a drama with 2 people in one room, and I bet you do a terrible job. And let alone to create a devastating, demolition, like disaster movie with a giant creature, and doing that on the budget. It's just like, how would you even like start in your mind of thinking how you're going to accomplish
Robert
that?
Downey Jr. is getting paid 4 times the entire budget of Godzilla -1. Just to put that in perspective.
But the story, honestly, is really what brings it, because it could have been all of that with a very simple, basic story that just didn't hit you very hard in the feels. But all the characters and all their motivations and the development of the main character just drive this movie to a super high level, like putting it above a lot of movies that I really love.
That's why it's number 4 for me.
Yep. All right, so
the big boy
we are
zone.
to the top
the
3.
Big boy zone.
Big boy zone, yeah.
This is the top 3, guys.
All right.
This is big. So why don't we start off? You guys have been going first. I'll go first on this one, and we can go with you guys after. So number 3 for me is Good Will Hunting.
Aha!
So
check.
I know.
Number 3. Top 3. Don't whine.
Liam's going to be upset if it's anything but 1, because it's his favorite movie ever. So I understand that. This movie is phenomenal. I mean,
really good movie.
It is a phenomenal movie. I don't. It's like you don't have as much to say about it because there's not really much to critique. Like every character in this movie is worth diving into. Whether it's his buddy who's the professor, whether it's Sean, the
Shawn Mendes.
The whatever, or whether it's Will himself, or even his friends, or Skylar. Every character is so well written. The story is a good story. It conveys a very good message. It's just healthy in every way. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Really, really good movie.
Amazing.
Did you have it as 3 as well?
Yeah,
you did. Okay,
right,
so both you guys. So we're okay. So my 3 is Con Air.
Hey,
which again. 2 thumbs up to Con Air. I had it in the tier with like Godzilla -1, Whiplash.
Then you thought about it, you're like, if we're watching this once a year, it's got to be its own tier.
It's in its own tier right now.
It's just like I watched that movie and then we watched it again, on like and I'm like, it didn't skip a beat for me. I was like, I could just keep like, why do I feel this way about this movie? I don't know, but I could just rewatch that movie all the time.
Yeah.
So
It was
good.
almost so good the first watch that you're like worried on the second watch. You're like, maybe I
Yes, I was
didn't
100%
remember it
worried.
the way it actually was.
I was 100% worried.
And they were like, nah, same feeling.
Hey,
No.
I don't like him.
I don't like
I don't
him.
like-
I don't like him.
So many moments that I forgot. And then when I watched,
Yanara.
So good.
dude, all of
See, it to me, Con Air is very similar to Ricochet, but it's so much funnier. It's so much. It doesn't take itself in the slightest bit seriously. It knows it's stupid and camp, but it leans into that in a great way. And just all the characters again. And I think this is the difference between like that kind of movie now versus that kind of movie then. That kind of movie then, they're being goofy and campy, and the actors know it's a goofy camp movie. Everyone who's making the movie knows it's a goofy camp movie, but the characters don't know it's a goofy camp movie. They're just playing it like it's real life.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays, everything's like the Deadpool thing where, oh, it's goofy and campy, and we got to look at the camera and go, wow, this sure is goofy and campy, huh? Wink, wink,
Yeah.
nudge, nudge. Boy, wouldn't it be funny if there were space lasers in the moon?
Yeah.
Like, and it's like,
But it's like on top of all the goofiness, you still give us what we want. Like,
Yeah,
we
and it's
wanna
still got,
see
like,
the
a really
good
solid
guys
story.
beat the bad guys, and then you also introduce
Put
characters like
the
Steve
bunny down.
Buscemi, who is like,
Yeah.
I could watch all of his scenes right now
Yeah,
on
that
like a
was
YouTube
great.
clip, and I would watch the whole YouTube video, just like show me all the scenes from him in that movie, and I bet they're all gold. Like it's such a great movie.
Yeah.
So that's 3 for you, Nathaniel. What about you? 3.
Good Will Hunting.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, Good Will Hunting. All right, so top 2. This is gonna be
Now here's where Liam gets mad at me. Top 2 for me was Ink.
so top number 2.
I just
is
love
Ink.
that movie. So we've talked about why. Yes, we've talked about why I love that movie. It's also short,
It is short, yeah.
and again, it's unique. It's not like any other movie I've seen, and so it's something I can point to where it was like, here's a movie, and this is where I'm going to be pretentious.
Here's a guy.
Here's a movie that like nobody has watched that I can be like, hey,
Yeah.
here's a movie you can watch. Something I can be like, ooh, I
Yeah.
get to share this with other people like nobody knows about it. And it's something they can, even if you don't like it, you can at least be like, it's not. I'm not wasting your time. It's only 90 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
So you
true.
can at least like look at it and be like, oh yeah, that was at least interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's got a special place in my heart. It's a movie I found yonks ago.
Yeah.
Like 2008, I got it on Netflix DVD.
How
Just
did
that-
you know about it initially?
Netflix recommended it to me. It was like, you might like da 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 da. And I'm just scrolling through. And I was like, oh, that poster looks interesting.
Early Netflix was funny. It
was wild.
Just the movies that
Yeah.
was just.
And
spit out on
I've
it.
literally never met another human being who I didn't show ink
Right.
who knows about this movie.
Right.
It's just nobody knew about it.
I think that adds a lot because I've shown you this movie, Liam, Standoff at Sparrow Creek. Like that's that movie for me where I don't think I can almost guarantee that most people that are like, oh yeah, I like movies. I'm like, I can almost guarantee you haven't seen Standoff at Sparrow Creek, and I think it's a phenomenal.
Stand up or stand off?
Standoff at Sparrow Creek. And have I ever watched that with you?
No.
Oh, we got.
I missed it the one time, yeah.
We definitely got to do that because
Yeah.
that's that movie for me where I found it and I'm like, man, why is this movie? There's nothing bad, to like about it. It's super intense. The acting is awesome. Like, it was an awesome movie. But yeah, I can definitely get that of kind of having ownership to being like, hey, I kind of discovered this on my own. I didn't watch a YouTuber that pointed it out, like, and it has merit. So
I will honestly say
it's
that
got a
will never
special place in
happen
my
for me.
yeah, well,
I don't know.
you'll never discover
How
a
many
movie
people have you
on your
met?
own.
I'll
How many
never
people have you
discover a
met that have
movie
watched
on
Old Boys? Old Boy.
A lot, actually.
Jeez.
And everyone loves it.
We have said that you're what was the term I used and you got offended when I was just like I didn't say mainstream. I just said
Yeah, I'm a mark for accolades.
You're basic.
I am. I honestly, I kind of am basic. I will not watch him. I have some.
well. So what's your
I'm
number 2
ashamed of
before we
this,
get
but-
into
Yeah,
this,
what's your number two?
What's your number 2?
Isn't it obvious? Moneyball.
Moneyball is number
Yeah.
2.
And then
This-
number one's Good Will Hunting.
yeah,
we
we know
didn't have
yeah.
that. We knew that one.
Yeah, it is.
So-
This is a separate tier of its own. This is all time movies for me.
The top 2?
Yeah.
So Moneyball and Goodwill. Well, it's funny because Moneyball was the first guest that we had on.
Yeah.
It was your buddy
Gavin.
Gavin, and we
Gavin
it was
Newsom,
it was
the
also
California
it was
governor.
also
Would never hang out with me.
No, we knew that.
would never hate that guy.
I've tried.
Hate
I
that
keep
Gavin
asking him.
fella.
He says, "Who the hell are you?" I don't live in North Carolina. I'm not coming over there.
So this was the first movie that we watched, and it was also a hot tub movie night for Liam and I, which
Yeah.
was phenomenal.
It was,
Which
yeah.
we're getting close, fellas.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow, we are.
We
I
are
walked
getting
out
close.
every time there are a couple days now when I walk out of work, either walk out to go to work or walk out from work in the evening, and I walk out, I'm like, oh,
I'm glad it's September.
nice.
I am glad it's September.
Yeah, I am.
I think
too.
as you
like
get
the fall.
older, you appreciate
I like the fall.
non-summer. Like
Yeah.
summer's always like you're
Yeah.
off classes, and
I
it's
like
it's
the
great,
break
but-
in summer. I
Yeah.
like the vacation, but I also like the work I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I really like fall weather.
Yeah,
Fall is pretty ideal. But yeah, we had an awesome experience watching this movie, and you were just given all the classic Liam lines. You're like, oh, one of the greatest movies ever, greatest movie
One
of
of the
all
greatest
time.
lines.
And just
Greatest scene coming up.
yeah. We were just constantly. But I have to say, like I was kind of right there with him. Just saying the same stuff. Moneyball is also my number 2, so
Nice.
I have to agree with it. And
And the number one,
wait, what was your number 2?
my number 2 is Ink.
I don't even know what your number 1 is. Huh.
So no,
My number one's the same as
yeah,
Greg's number one.
I know what your number 1 is.
My number one.
Do you know what my number 1 is, Liam? Oh, Liam, come on. Dude,
Am I
where is
missing
I gotta
one?
hit you with the horn, dude.
Con Air?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
okay.
I realized that we
Down.
talked about Con Air just for me. Okay,
Yep.
yeah, gotcha.
Yep.
Hey, I don't like him.
It's just such an like I wouldn't have thought if you had asked me
Yeah.
going into the, like if you would before I watched any of these movies and you gave me like the plots
Yeah.
and asked me like how do you think you'll rank them, it would have been completely different.
Yeah.
And Con Air would not have made the top of the list. It would have been in the bottom of the list. It would have
Totally.
been like this ridiculous movie. But I actually watched Con Air years and years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when you watch it the first time, you're like,
It is.
it's like a national treasure.
It hits on
It's
every
like-
level.
You know the parable where you go out into the field, the guy goes out into the field and he finds the treasure and he sells everything he has. That's Con Air.
Yeah.
That's the treasure. Like you open the box and you're like, this is so valuable. I have to make sure I have this
Yeah.
at any cost. It's just such just everything about that movie shouldn't work and it just does.
So special. We even have a day.
Yeah, it's
I
just
mean, there's no other
phenomenal.
movie that we literally
Put on
wear
wigs,
wigs and
wife
wife
beaters
beaters and like there's nothing else that has drawn us to that, and it was just a no brainer with that. I was
Yeah.
like, this movie deserves that. It
Yeah.
deserves it.
Yeah, absolute banger.
It sits comfortably up on my number 1 spot in this list, amongst other phenomenal movies. But
There's
yes.
something beautiful about how low, like you just touched on it, how low the expectations were and how much it exceeded it. It's like the opposite of Trap in a sense, where it's
Yeah.
like we
It
went
might be
into
the
it like
polar
being like,
opposite.
oh,
If
this
you
will be
asked me
interesting, and then it was so bad
the
that
op-
made it worse. The gap there.
I do think the gap between expectation and
delivery.
reality
Yeah.
does change how you enjoy a movie.
Definitely.
So I think so. Like going into like Watchers, I had no expectations, and no expectations were met.
Correct.
Going into like Monkey Man, I had some expectations, and it was terrible. So that worsens it. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
I'm trying to think of what the biggest difference for me is. Last Jedi is one of them.
Last Jedi.
That's
Last
up there
Jedi.
in-
You could have had low expectations, and
Yeah,
Dude, Mark Hamill sucks.
he really does. He's a
dude.
terrible
Mark
dude.
Hamill
Like,
sucks.
and the thing is, like, he's done literally nothing other than be Luke Skywalker and do the voice of Joker, which he did a very good Joker voice.
Did he?
Yeah.
For what? An animated?
And Batman the Animated Series.
Mark
does the voice of
Hamill
Joker.
is the voice of Joker.
He's the
Like
voice.
any voice
just
you've
like
ever heard
Kevin
of Joker,
Conroy.
it's
Just like
actually
Kevin
Mark
Conroy
Hamill.
is the voice of Batman.
It's wild.
Mark Hamill is the voice of Joker.
Yeah.
But he's done literally nothing else.
Wait, are you being serious?
And
100%
he
serious,
and
yeah.
Mark Ruffalo and George Clooney, like, your opinion does not matter.
Hey, shut up and dribble.
You know nothing.
You know?
Yeah, right? Like,
Right? Shut up and dribble.
Like-
shut up and act. Shut up and pretend to be someone else.
wow, it's
No
nice
one
for you
cares
to
about your
vote for all
opinion.
these things where they're going to give other people money when you're completely insulated and isolated. Like,
Well, guys.
anyways,
straight men. For
not to get
Kamala,
political,
so-
but yeah.
I'm
All
sure
two
Mark
of them.
Hamill has tweeted that hashtag plenty of times. Anyway, I didn't mean to get political.
Yeah.
So, a great list, guys. It was an awesome season. We had some great guests, which leads me to our next segment about those guests. We're getting into it, guys. This is it. This is where we will pick the final Mad Lib. And during our break before
Do I
we
have to
start
read all
season
these
3,
again?
Yeah, what's the process of picking one?
We're gonna run through these. Yeah, run through them. Just run.
Okay.
Run through. You're the best reader, so just we're
All
not
right,
gonna.
I'm going to read them as robotic as I can, whichever one makes you laugh.
I already have one in my memory that I think is
All
my
right.
pick.
Good morning, ladies and cameras, boys and weights. My name is Lester. I am your personal pot guide. For the next 6 hours, we will delight in exploring romantic, deplorable Hollywood, the glamour king of the world. Let's start off with a bang and visit Grauman's Majestic Theater, Hollywood's most beautiful tourist attraction. You'll see etched in the cement the foot roses and feet prints of the most famous movie cheeseburger ever to adorn the sexy screen. Then it's only a hop, skip, and Alan Queen.
What?
Oh, A/Ann and a queen to Beverly. I had to write this one out. To Beverly Hills, the playground of the rich and bad. You will feast your belly buttons on the $1 million jobs of movie stars. You'll actually get to visit the home of today's hottest chair, Ricky.
That was Evans.
That's pretty good.
That was Evans.
That was
Who
pretty
will
good.
sign autographs for the low sum of $7 each. That's actually a steal at this day and age. And here's the big one. For lunch, we are going to the studio commissary where you can rub hands with today's leading actors and actresses. All aboard.
All right, so that was pretty solid.
Not bad.
I would say so put that in a stack, and we'll go through and read. And if anything's better than that, we put it over
Replace
it.
it.
Okay.
And just race through them.
Why do we have to do
We got a
some
lot of
legal
these.
pad?
In 1981, the U.S. launched the first real space whale. It was named Columbia and was piloted by two brave doorbells. They had practiced cleaning for 2 years and were expert crackers. We can't use that one. Columbia took off from
This is my
We
favorite.
are 3 experts.
Columbia took off from Columbine and using its powerful first stage sheds and stored off into the weird blue computer at an altitude of 88 feet. It went into orbit around the candle. Okay, this one we could actually film with like
Actually,
Legos.
this is the one that I
For
thought
people
we should
watching
do.
from Earth, it was a smelly sight to jump. Who could really crawl that there were 2 phones in space? It was mind boinking. After 69 orbits, the shuttle landed really at an Air Force Hippo. It was a creamy day for the U.S. space program. The first half is doable. The second half makes no sense. It's pure nonsense.
Again, this is
Whose
just
was this one?
Well, that was Gavin's. This is thematically. Look, we have to base a short film off of this. So this could be us in a room, like acting like we're NASA, like talking about this.
Right,
Be like,
right.
We could definitely execute this one. I would put this at the top. I would say this.
Columbia took off from Columbine.
Well, we don't have to go and film. We can just talk about like we can be like, hey, where are they taking off?
Sure.
You can always pretend to be a bloodthirsty Anna Kendrick, threatening
read it
everyone
normally.
by waving your autistic sword in the air. But until you learn to eat like a pirate, you'll never be creatively accepted as an authentic autism. This was
Nope.
definitely the
This was
accountant
the
episode.
accountant.
This was
So here's
Sean
what you do:
or whatever
cleverly
his
work
name
into your
is.
daily
Marshall.
conversations pretty pirate phrases such as "ahoy there, dogs," "avasty cats," and "shiver me detectives." Remember to drop all your G's when you say words such as sailin', spittin', and fightin'. This will give ye a forehead start to be recognized as a swashbuckling Braxton. Once you have the lingo down pat, it helps to wear a 3-cornered Christian wolf on your head and stash a blood in your pants. And keep a plank perched atop your earlobe. Now you be a real pirate. Nah, that one's
Yeah,
trash.
we're gonna pass.
Sorry,
on that.
Gavin.
Sorry,
Hard
Marshall.
pass.
No, that was Marshall.
Marshall,
The
do better.
the astronaut one is still the top.
Yep,
so
I
far.
agree.
Old Mother Hubbard went to the cider to get her fantastic badger a bone. When she got there, the cider was different. I don't know. And so the cider was different. I don't know what to tell you. And so her athletic dog had none. Jack and Jill went up the mineral deposit to fetch an apple crate of water. Jack fell down and broke his banjo, and Jill came tumbling after. There was a little girl. She had a little curl right in the middle of her tail. Can't use that. And when she was tall, she was very, very short. And when she was bad, she was lean. There was a cool woman who cussed in a shoe. She had so many opossums, she didn't know what to do.
Whose was that?
That was Juan's. I know, because it said cussed. And that was fantastic, Mr. Fox.
Sorry, Juan.
Gonna be a no.
So no for me, dog. It's a shame we didn't do these in order.
How many more do we have of these?
I think like 3 or 4.
God.
This is Greg's idea, so blame him.
We just have to pick one, guys. This is well, if everybody was here early, we could have looked through these.
Excuse me. I came from work. There was traffic. My brother was
traffic.
holding the controller. I lagged.
Been here since 3.
You
A
work
telephone monologue to be read by a ball in pajamas. Hi, Earl Talbot bloke. It's me, Nick Stiles. I hope I didn't wake you from a beautiful sleep. Sure, I know what wagon it is. I have a digital minivan right by my bed. It's 6:93 a.m. But when I sleep over at your house, this is always the time you get up to go to the LED light strip. I can't go to sleep. I haven't ever been asleep. I haven't closed my rocks even once. Every time my gunshot knee hits the window pane, I start tossing and jumping. I remember that one. Nothing's the matter. I just have heavenly news, and I have to tell someone my mom changed her clump of hair and said I can have a puppy provided I feed and sock break it. I want you to go with me to the shelter and pick out an asteroid. I don't care what breed. It can be a cocker tire iron or a wonderful retriever or even a German
tire.
sweat. I'll see you first thing in the morning. Go back to sleep. Try counting ducks.
It's like
I don't hate that one.
Yeah, I know. That one actually made me smile a couple
I hate
times.
that one.
But
Let's
we
keep,
have to use animals, so
let's keep that one to the side. Let's keep it off to the side.
okay.
Give us like 2 more, because Liam can't handle it anymore.
He's talking
Liam-
like a robot.
Liam can suck it. I'm just going to dog ear it. I think there's only 2 or 3 more.
Why have we decided to talk like a robot for these?
Yeah,
I have to talk neutrally
What was the
so that they're
creative
all the
decision
same. They have to all be the same so that you're only thinking about the words and not me being hilarious. Right?
That's true.
I'm doing my best to not influence you in any way.
Just do a quick fan. Don't go through every single. Just if you can.
Canoe comes from the Spanish word dressage. This type of vessel was first described by Columbus in the year 50. It is a wily boat with its sides meeting at a crafty edge and each coyote. A canoe is moved by 1 or more days. It is important for you to learn the rapid way to paddle your tire before putting it in the warm gym with the human hair. Well, I know what episode that one's from.
Yeah.
Should your canoe overturn and you do not know how to run, hang onto the side of the hurdy-gurdy. Spelled incorrectly.
Is that me?
I'm assuming so. It wasn't me. I know how to spell hurdy-gurdy. Kick your strings and head for the safety of the bulb. If you surface under the canoe, locate the air lug nut, which will allow you to breathe until you are crapped. Once you have mastered the art of taxing, you can enjoy an overnight rancid trip, which is often the highlight of camping threaded stud. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah, no.
I think it might be. Nope, here's one more. Thank you, ladies in cargo shorts. I'm so nervous. My donut is beating a cookie a minute. My donut is beating a cookie a minute. Now, that's a phrase.
That's awesome.
I didn't prepare a water bottle. I never expected to win this Harry Oscar. I have too many people to jump. First and foremost, my beautiful co-star Greg,
Nice.
who was always in my dressing shotgun, held my ankle when I was in trouble, and never failed to compliment me and give me a smelly pat on my volleyball when I did well. That sounds really dirty.
You're welcome.
I also want to thank my sticky director, my long producer, and of course, the slippery writer of the script. This got really dirty really fast. Most of all, I want to thank you, my Twisted fans, and all the members of the Academy of Motion Picture Butterflies who were responsible for my laying this loud award. Bless your afros.
I like that one.
Do you like that best?
I like that one.
You like it best?
I think I like that one best.
Hear it.
Like,
It seems filmable.
is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
I picture the one, the Gavin one, us actually like in a room pretending to be NASA, like, and I just writing a funny script for us to be like, the ship is about to
But
take
that
off.
one, it could be one of us accepting the award, and then there's like cutaways.
Yeah, cutaway
like
to the people
slippery,
being described. Yeah.
Actually, okay, all right. So put that on top of the stack and just read 1 or 2 more, and then we'll.
American children are fascinated by by crunchy stuff like stories that scare the Miller lights off them or make their brothers stand on end. Scientists say this is because being frightened causes the Dicerus gland to function and puts raw milk into their blood. Everyone knows that this makes kids feel smoky when they are scared by a movie or a creatine. Who was thinking about working
Matt.
out?
This is
Matt,
for sure,
that's
Matt.
Matt. Yeah, that's
Not even a
Boys
question.
laugh and
like
holler
Korean.
and fly.
Who
The
else would
girls
say
covers their eyes with their sharks and keep screaming and sleeping. Most kids get over this by the time they are 69 years old.
Screaming.
Then they like movies about cars bantering or cops shooting big fans. Or if they are girls, they like movies about a boy meeting a meatball and falling in love. Of course, that can be scary too.
All right. So what was this? What was the award one?
I like the Oscar
Who
one.
did that one? Was that Evan? No, that wasn't Evan.
No, that wasn't Evan. I don't know.
Is it Juan?
we definitely should have wrote the names of whoever.
I mentioned that, and Greg was like, "Oh, it's fine. We'll just look over the tapes."
Well, we can also just figure out which person it is via the show.
Who
I
we
can just go to the
missing?
show. And
Maybe it's Riley's.
could be Riley's.
O'Reilly's.
All right.
Oh, parts.
So are we just ending it there?
Not sponsored. All right, here's one more.
All right. Here we go.
I think there's maybe 2 more.
Okay.
Armpits of all
Just
ages
keep
enjoy
saying-
watching fabulous magicians perform their huge tricks. Every man, woman, and charcuterie board loves to see a magician pull an anus out of a hat, saw a live boat in half, or make a huge dog butt disappear into massive air. Audiences love when magicians perform sleight of ankle with a deck of pigeons, a generous coin, or a silk taco truck. The greatest of all magicians was the stupendous Harry Houdini, who was able to escape from a locked worm, even though his lymph nodes were tied behind his left testicle and his feet were wrapped in iron cops. Okay, that was Stephen Rue. All right, look at me. When I wrote it down, I wrote who? See this, Liam?
Okay.
See this, Liam?
Whoop-dee-doo. Jeez. Well, we're not picking that one, so I guess that doesn't help.
But you like how I identified him just by the fact it said left testicle. Like that, Stephen. I think that's the last one. So we're thinking the Oscar bait.
That feels like the most filmable.
I agree with you. I think that's the most filmable. I think
All
that,
right.
And I think it could be funny because one of us is, and then the cutaways is like,
Yeah, we could actually just
In
have to
the
recreate
audience
a
and
sticky
they're-
something,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
slimy,
yeah.
whatever. Okay, all right. So we have a winner. We officially have a winner.
we should really figure out who that was. We should congratulate them.
maybe for season 3 we can get you some new sound
And they could
effects.
see if
Yeah,
they
that was
want
awesome.
to join us.
Yes.
All right, let me get back to that one.
So by process of elimination, it could be your friend for the accountant.
No, Marshall was the autism one.
Oh,
in the,
that's right. That's
it's not
right. That's
him.
right.
It's not Matt. It's not Gavin. It's not Juan. It's not Steven.
It's not Evan.
It
not
wasn't.
Evan. It's got to be Riley.
It's got to be Riley,
Right.
Which will be perfect because he'd be great, and I'm pretty sure he joined. He also said
So double
"Woo,
check that.
Godzilla -1 when we talked about it.
Yeah, that might be it.
All right. I guess I could theoretically just go and double check that.
Yeah, you can just double check that.
That was Riley.
I mean, it's at the end of the episode, so you could just like go to the end, check the Mad Lib.
Yeah.
And if it's not that one, then so it wasn't Alan because his had the hair of Jin.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Alan.
It wasn't Alan.
Yeah.
We figured out which one Alan.
Oh man, Jakob should have written us a letter for the end of the season.
All right, I'm on Riley's.
Damn.
Scroll to the end of Riley's.
We can do this later.
We could figure this out
This is
later.
quality television right here.
This is
So, Greg, why don't you explain what's changing in season 3, or what our
Yes.
plan is moving forward for season 3?
Yes. So, okay, season 3, we will be taking a slight different turn. So, season 2, we picked a guest per episode. We had them pick a movie. We all watched it together. It was a lot of fun. For season 3, we will be going a little more pop, like what's going on right now, and we will be seeing movies in theaters. The three of us have all gotten AMC Stubbs A-list passes, except for Liam.
Shill.
So not all three of us.
Sponsor
Not all
us.
three.
Sponsor us.
It's three of us minus one, if you will. But he'll get one, I'm sure. And we will be watching 2 movies per show. So we will be watching 2 movies in theaters per episode.
And I think we should cycle off like every third show. We go watch some older movies.
Yeah, we can still have we'll figure it out. We'll definitely, just like we did with this season. We had certain times where we stopped and we did some movies in theaters, and we'll have some change up. But the standard show for next season will be addressing the movies that are in theaters now. We've just realized that we've kind of just been watching older movies, and we cringe every time we think about watching a newer one. But we need to kind of give them their rightful
Fair
place.
shake.
Yeah, we need to go and watch, because you might find things like I found Slingshot the other day.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a
it's
good
actually a
time.
great movie. So we'll be doing this. We'll be doing 2 movies an episode. We will have guests on sporadically, but it won't be an every week thing. We'll try to get guest hosts when one of us can't make it to the show. But that will be season 3. We're going to take a slight break. We're not sure exactly the coming back date. We're talking about potentially moving from Thursdays to Tuesdays, if that's okay with Liam. I know it's okay with Nathaniel. Yep. So Tuesdays might be our new night, probably keeping around the same time, not as this show, but as our normal shows. Around that 7:38 mark.
Audio podcast will resume shortly.
Yes.
And that will be mostly Craig and I talking about all the series as we've watched. There is the Ghostbusters episode with Liam on it.
Yes.
Wow, is that not released
that
yet?
Still is not released yet.
Holy
I've
cow,
been
so
doing other
long
things,
ago.
man.
Loomis was such a
I was
child.
just,
That was a year. That was a year.
Yeah, it
plus
was like
ago.
a year ago.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
It's a
something like
long
that.
time
It's been a
ago.
while. But yeah, AudioCast is ready to resume. It'll be mostly, again, and I'll post when I post the first episode, I'll send out on the Twitter or X, Wakanda forever, a list of the series that we've watched but have not recorded podcasts for. So if you want to suggest a series for Greg and I to watch and do a podcast on, and Liam's obviously welcome to join if you want to.
Depends on the
might
series.
be like, can you watch all the High School Musicals? I'd actually be okay with those. I've seen, by proxy, I've seen those like 6 times. So,
But yes,
but you
that's
can recommend series.
Did we find out if that was Riley Mulkey? And did we not? You don't
We can
have
figure
to-
that out.
Yeah, we'll figure that out later. I just didn't. If you already found it out, we'll
What we'll have to do is we'll have to make him be the one giving the speech.
Yeah. Well,
Obviously.
the goal is we'll film this short film with our guest that did the Mad Lib. We'll present it at the beginning of season 3. We'll be taking a little break here before season 3, and then get things kicked back up on Tuesdays, normal time, with the new format. And yeah, we're really looking forward to getting back with you guys in a few weeks. And to all of our lovely fans who spent time with us on the cast and did these awesome Mad Libs, we thank you. We thank you for these movies. Thank you for getting us through. And from everybody here at the Dearly Debated, that's a wrap. Until
off.
next time.
4 more years. 4 more years.
I am not a crook.
Whew.